Oh, hello there. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to DMs After Dark. Welcome to our session 0 of Avatar Legends, the role-playing game that takes place in the Avatar verse of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. What's going on, DMs? How are you guys doing?
Doing
Hey-ho.
great, man.
Excited for this. This will be
Yeah.
fun.
Wait.
Canada.
Yes, International Edition.
Yeah.
Jess is
How you
north
doing,
of the border.
That
Yeah.
counts. Oh,
I
God.
didn't say
Yeah.
intercontinental.
I had to use my passport. It counts.
Yeah, that absolutely counts.
my
How is
God.
it up there? Is it winter yet?
You know, it's not too bad. It's cold, but I was expecting it to be a lot colder, but it's not that much different in Montreal.
Yeah.
How far north are you?
Not that far.
Like
we're
into
only
Canada?
we're only like a half an hour over the border. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Montreal's
okay, so-
like just over the border, right?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
Troy, we were like part way through and we were like, wow, this looks a lot like Iowa. There's just so much.
It's all
corn
farms.
when
Yeah.
we cross.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Southern Quebec is a lot of
Nice.
farms.
Yeah.
It's some of my favorite skiing though when you go a little bit further up. That's a
So you're
Unrelated
in the
comment.
maple syrup. You're in the maple syrup nation then right now.
sugar maple. Let's go. Hello to all our friends north of the border, whoever gonna watch this and listen. We
How you
like
doing, buddy?
Yeah. We are
Thank
your
you.
friends,
Now,
pal.
now
just
they
gonna-
know what they're saying. Now we. Now
I'm
they
just
know what
gonna
we're saying.
work on those Canadian accents all night.
Yeah.
The South Park Canadian accent, not a real one, just the South Park one.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Make sure-
And we are short one Amber tonight because she is also in Canada, but she is doing professional things in Canada. So she's too important to join us today, but will be joining us for the actual game.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have talked with her about a little bit about the Avatar Legends and her character, just to get her thinking about this stuff. But yeah, she's got real adult stuff things to do, so we're gonna let her do that, not just play games. So speaking of the game, but Jess is. I mean, she's
No, I'm making faces at Troy's off-screen comments.
Oh, gotcha. I did just see that. Well, let's talk about Avatar Legends, though. Let's talk about Avatar, the whole legend, Legends, the Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra. I want to know because I've been bothering you guys about this as the DM who's going to be running this game for us, this short little series. I want to know, and I haven't asked this because I wanted to hear about it right now. What's everybody's experience with it? Like, have all of you watched it? Have you guys, like, how into it are you or were you at one point?
Who's
So
going? I'll go
I-
first. Oh, okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
Chris.
No, go ahead,
Okay,
go ahead, go
thanks.
ahead.
I'll go. I've only watched not Legend of Korra. I've only watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. I
Mhm.
did finish it recently, probably just a year ago when it's on Netflix right now. So it's Legends of Korra. So if you do want to watch it and catch up on the lore, it's on Netflix. But that's the only one I've watched. But I plan on watching Legends of Korra as we're playing. Throughout this
Awesome.
month. Yeah.
I'm in a similar boat to Jess. Actually, Julia got me into
That's his
Avatar,
wife.
which is crazy because she
Can't talk.
hasn't gotten me into any good shows ever. So there's a first for that.
Wow, that is a public burn now.
Shots
I
fired.
guess
Yeah,
Friends,
ugh.
but that's really controversial, right?
Boo.
Some people would
Boo.
actually
Yeah,
say
no.
that's worse.
Yeah.
So
I would
that's
say
why I
that
didn't
actually, if she introduced you to one good show, but also introduced you to Friends, that like
We're still net
negates-
zero.
You're
Yeah,
still
Yeah, we're
net
net
zero
zero.
for
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely.
So
I
yeah,
love
so
Friends.
I recently, not recently, but a couple years ago, year or two ago, I watched all of the Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I actually watched it with the kiddos. So
Nice.
they really liked it. They super enjoyed it. I have seen maybe half of the first season of Legend of Korra.
Mhm.
I haven't seen the whole thing of Legend of Korra. So, and
I-
what is there, 3 seasons or something like that?
There are 4
4?
seasons. Yeah.
There's 4 seasons for Legend of Korra.
And I think that everybody's going to be probably in this same boat. Korra seemed to not be quite the fan favorite, but let's get to Sarah and Christian.
ahead,
I
Sarah.
am peripherally aware of things in the Avatar verse. I've seen maybe 2 full episodes of Last Airbender, one of which I forget. One of which I remember was the Fire Island Players episode.
That's
So,
like the worst. Wow,
That's the one I remember.
it's a great
Oh,
episode,
that-
but that's not a
that
good
was a good
episode to. Yeah.
And then I saw the first episode of Legend of Korra. The rest
Hmm.
of it I
Mhm.
learned from being on the internet.
Sure.
and having a lot of friends who are into Avatar. The most Avatar knowledge I gained was my friend made a Avatar and Korra Guess Who board.
Which was probably pretty tough for you to.
Well,
yeah.
no, we did teams, and I was
Right.
always on a team with someone who knew what they were talking about.
Very cool.
And
Valid.
what we learned from that is that if Momo was given a gun, he would be lethal.
Yeah, no, that tracks for sure.
100%.
So that's
Yeah.
my knowledge.
Cool. And
Yes.
Christian.
So I'm kind of like in Sarah's like ballpark, kind of in between Sarah and Jess. Like I've seen some of the episodes of the first one. I haven't seen any of Korra. I've seen Aang. I don't know what, I haven't seen them in order. I've just seen them like kind of when they were on TV. I've watched them with my son, so I don't know a lot of the lore. So I'm a baby, and I have seen the movie too. So there you go.
Oh gosh.
Oh
But,
no,
yeah.
no,
No,
there is.
Puts you backwards.
There is no
That
movie.
puts you backwards.
No, the movie was
Yeah,
great,
no,
guys.
Yeah.
we
No,
don't
We're
worry
in net
about it.
zero.
That's right.
We're
The
net
movie
zero.
is here.
That's
That's
zero.
why I'm here, guys. No, I'm just
No.
kidding.
That movie does
I
not
understand
sound
the
like a
movie
movie.
is thought of as that it sucks. So yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
The movie-
The only the blue person avatar is okay. Yeah, that's
The movie is
That's
the
the
same
only
thing as
Avatar
the
I've never
War in
seen
Ba
that one,
Sing
actually.
Se. There is no
Yeah.
movie.
there is no
Oh,
Avatar
so
movie.
good. Oh, so Amber isn't here, but she has seen all of Avatar and all of Legends of Korra.
Yes. All right. Me and Amber are on the same page.
So
there.
she's
the
like a fan
knowledgeable
then.
person isn't
Yeah,
here.
she loves the series. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, and so that's what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to know how much you guys had watched or were familiar with it because despite being a Nickelodeon kid show, I would argue that Avatar: The Last Airbender is way too good for what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like for
Oh,
being
so good.
for being a Nickelodeon kid show, you could have expected that show to be lovable characters and funny adventures and stuff like that, but like the actual writing of that show, the world building of that show, the character arcs that you go through are things that you wouldn't expect in a serialized children's show. I
Yeah.
highly recommend, if you haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, do it. I would also say Legend of Korra is very good, but it's obviously got to live up to the expectations that is Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they took some pretty bold steps that I really, really love as a world building nerd, and all of you know this about me, the other DMs. Hi, child. Behind Troy.
Hi, child.
But I will say
Heads
this: like
popping up everywhere.
the world building that they did for Legend of Korra, where they took the world that Aang created and ushered in after the 100-Year War ended, and turned it into this kind of like modernized, the nations all cohabitating and working together, is actually very, very amazing. And I think it's very clever how they did that. It made it feel interesting. And they also made it where you have a new Avatar in Korra, but she was very, very different from Avatar Aang, which is great. But yeah, so that's great. That's awesome. I guess technically, before we start talking about your characters and the world itself, like I just started gushing about because I'm a huge fan of the world building of this series, we do kind of need to talk about what era we aim to play in, because it will influence a lot of the decisions that you guys have, the options you have moving forward. For example, if you guys wanted to play in the 100-Year War era, which is when Aang was asleep in his iceberg, with Appa, there are airbenders, but they're probably being persecuted, right? If you want to play in Aang or Korra's era, there are not a lot of airbenders. So if any of you were thinking of playing an airbender, that's a difficult thing. There was an air nomad genocide in this show. Again, we're talking about a children's show, and they did not shy away from breaching that kind of talk, like the atrocities of war. So, if any of you, I don't know, I know we've chatted a little bit about your guys' concepts for characters. I don't recall if any of you wanted to play airbenders, but that is a serious consideration before we move forward. So does anybody need a rundown of the nations themselves? Do you want me to kind of do
Why don't you do that anyway, just for the people who might be uninitiated, Rene?
Well, I mean, I think we should pick era first, because I feel like the way the nation probably operated, right, or the way their culture was, might be dependent on what
when we're
era
setting
we're
it.
in.
That's true.
Okay. Do you want me to give you a pitch of the eras that are available to play in for this, and we can talk about those?
Yeah.
Okay, so the oldest era going back in time is Kyoshi's era. Kyoshi was one of the avatars. She was from the Earth Nation, the Earth Kingdoms. It covers the events after the novels that have come out recently about Kyoshi. She was a badass warrior of the Earth Kingdom. If you guys remember from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Suki and the Earth Nation, the Earth Kingdom people who, the warriors, the female warriors who paint their face and they're super badass. That was Kyoshi. Kyoshi kind of started that movement, or was a part of that movement. I can't really recall, but yeah. So it says here, play in Kyoshi's era if you want to fight battles against rogues and bandits and deal with corruption as the nations defend and reinforce their borders. So we're going back so far that we're still talking about territorial, border skirmishes and conflicts between the nations. At that point, obviously the air nomads, I think that it's pretty understood that throughout all of these eras, pre-100-Year War, so between Kyoshi and Roku's era, air nomads are both nomadic and reclusive. So they weren't exactly fighting battles. They're monks, that live in like secluded high mountain, difficult places to get to and things like that. But it would definitely be a place where in Kyoshi's era, we're talking Fire Nation attacks on the Earth Kingdom, probably pirate raids, things like that. And maybe even Water Nation, skirmishes and things like that. Then next up is Roku's era. Roku was the next avatar after Kyoshi. That might not be correct, but it's the next era that we play in. And Roku was a firebender. He was from the Fire Nation. And that covers the time just before the arrival of Sozin's comet and the beginning of the 100-Year War. If you guys remember Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's actually a flashback to this where they talk about Fire Lord Sozin and Avatar Roku. They were very good friends, but Fire Lord Sozin wanted to establish the Fire Nation as a powerhouse. He saw the comet that was coming. The Fire Nation gets a lot of their power from the sun and from breathing, and this comet was like a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, prophesied thing that he took to mean we should strike. And so it began the 100-Year War that sent Aang into seclusion and all that. So it says here, play in Roku's era if you want to deal with tensions between the nations and the trials of maintaining an uneasy peace. So slightly bigger scale than what we're talking about in Kyoshi's era. The scope of a Kyoshi era adventure would probably be much smaller. We're talking about defending a village versus defending the borders of, the 100-Year War focuses on the time just before Avatar Aang's awakening at the beginning of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So we're playing before Aang is woken up by Katara and Sokka, right? So during that gap in the Avatar being in the world, basically it's when the Fire Nation is declaring war on everyone, and while the air nomad genocide is occurring. Play in this era if you want to rebel against unjust rule, protect the weak, and stand up to tyranny. And then you have Aang and Korra's era, which obviously for reasons because the show exists, don't take place in the timeline of those shows. They take place after them. So if we play in Aang's era, it's after he has defeated Fire Lord Ozai. And it's about healing the world after a tragedy and helping bring it into a brighter future. And Korra's era is after the end of Legend of Korra, after she has done her spirit world stuff. I'm not going to spoil anything because I want people to go watch Korra. It's very good. Play in Korra's era if you want to deal with the repercussions of imperialism and play in a modernized era. In Korra, there are like cars and like metal bending has become a thing that not everyone, but a lot of earthbenders can do. And that revolutionizes cities. You know what I mean? Like you have beams and all these zip lines across cities that basically earthbender metal benders can become like incredibly mobile police forces, and it's very cool. Okay. So yeah, I ranted a little long there, but
no, that's fine. I would say that I don't want to play in a modernized version personally.
Especially because
I'm
not
pretty
everyone's
open
familiar
to
with Korra.
other stuff, but I think I put that one out, and other than that, I'm pretty open. I mean, what do you guys think of other stuff?
I like the idea of the second era.
Roku's?
So like the beginning of the tensions in the war and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That would be specifically before Sozin's comet. So it would be it would be as the Fire Nation is preparing to go to war and fully just hit it hard. So there would definitely be, I think during Roku's era is when the Fire Nation set up that tower in the Earth Kingdom. I could nerd out about this forever. But yeah, it's definitely skirmish city.
I'm
Not
kind of-
full on war, but
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning more towards right before Aang disappears and after he succeeds, because I like the idea of after he succeeds, the nations are trying to come together, but there's still all of this contention, right? It's after the war. This huge war happened. Like there's still a lot of animosity, but somehow the nations have to come together to peace, where they work together for Korra's, time. Like
yeah,
that
nobody's gonna
idea-
trust firebenders, right?
Yeah,
Like firebenders are
exactly.
gonna be, yeah.
I like that idea of like that complete shift, and that could be selfish because I'm trying to play a Fire Nation person, but like that shift of going to war, and then now like what I'm working with these people, right?
I will say that if you choose that era of after Aang, just because of the way that it's written, technically, I don't know if I would allow any of you to play airbenders, because it is strictly Aang's children
Right.
who become the future airbenders that start the population all over kind of thing.
Right.
But
I'm actually with Jess. I was thinking right after Aang too.
cool.
Works for me.
It's definitely more in a comfort zone.
Ooh.
With my lack of knowledge, but I would still feel kind of more comfortable with that. And I also think it's what more people would know and be familiar with. And I
man.
think that's neat.
Yeah, and we could talk about.
I like the idea of the tension too, since Jess wants to play a firebender. That
Troy just
tension
gave the
is
thumbs up.
good.
I do actually love this too, because we can talk. I mean, I'm gonna obviously be sitting here for the next 2 weeks, really loving brainstorming what I'm gonna present to you guys as far as a series, but a short little mini series. But we can also talk about, this could be the beginning of Republic City. Aang and the gang were the ones who said, like, look, we all worked together. Like, we're all represented here, and we need a place where it's not about your individual nation. And they founded Republic City, which is on the western coast of the Earth Kingdom. And it was a city where any bender, like anybody from any nation, was welcome to build a inclusive, modern society. And so Republic City is a really cool place that, like, we could talk about before it gets to the modernized version of Korra. We could talk about, the tensions that would be rife in a place like that.
Yeah.
So
The other thing that I was gonna say is that I also like right before Aang too, because that's also when the tension is developing, right? All these horrible things are happening, and that's where the contention is first kind of starting. So there's a lot of kind of emotional conflict there too.
yeah,
But
right,
That's my thought.
right. You're on
Jess,
the
you're
precipice.
coming in a little quiet, Jess. Just saying.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not like terrible, but just you're a little quiet. Maybe you just don't
No,
yell
no,
like Rain.
thank you.
I don't know.
I am very loud. I
Rain's
wake up
like,
my
"What
child
is
through a
that?"
wall. I wake up my child through a wall when we do this. So,
Oh my god.
but
Lynn must be so happy about that.
she loves me. So yeah, maybe we should put it to a vote, where we're talking right before the 100-Year War. The Fire Nation is poised and ready to strike as Sozin's comet is on its way, or after the fallout of the Fire Nation's devastating war against the world and trying to take it to entirely new levels. Yeah. Where's everybody sitting with this?
I don't particularly have a strong. Either one is fine for me. I don't particularly have a strong opinion.
Chat, take it a chat.
We have, what does chat think? Go for it. Let us know, guys.
I don't know. What does chat think?
No, I know.
Staring at my other screen.
I should
Waiting
not.
for
I
the
should not
delay.
have put it to the yeah.
Yeah. I would
Um,
say it's up to Sarah and Troy. Christians, either way. I put these two out there, so I don't.
Yeah.
I personally like. I think both of them are good. I think the aftermath of the war is going to have more like
juice.
room for interpersonal drama, because like I want to play an earthbender, Jess wants to play a firebender. I do know in lore that the firebenders occupied the Earth Nation, at least part of it. Am I right?
Sometimes.
So
Sometimes
that
we
could be
Say that
like,
again?
We invade a lot, yeah. We
Uh,
take over cities. And stuff.
Chat's input is that pumpkin pie hummus rocks, just so you guys know.
Love it.
I'm sure it does. That sounds
I
amazing.
I believe that. All right.
Well, I guess also for you, Rainey, like, what do you have more ideas for? Like, what kind of inspires you more? Of what
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
world
so
talks
I
about?
I think that based on what you guys have been talking about and playing various members of different nations and stuff like that, definitely means I think that I'd have an easier time working it in Aang's era after the war has ended, because it'd be a way to bring all of you together without it being very strange that, you know, the Fire Nation's about to go to war and, we have a Fire Nation kind of character in here that isn't necessarily super aggressive.
I love the idea of after Aang's era. I think that could be really fun.
Perfect. Okay, so in that case, we can talk about the nations after the events of after the events of Avatar: The Last Airbender. That would be after the defeat of Fire Lord Ozai by Avatar Aang. It actually has a thing here where it says, the Fire Nation and its people are working to redefine themselves away from the terrible crimes of their past without losing their traditions, heritage, and thirst for innovation. Yes, the Fire Nation is, if you think about it, like probably the geniuses behind a good amount of the modernization that occurs after Avatar Aang's defeat, right? Because they have combustion, they have metal, right? They live on an archipelago of volcanic islands. There's a lot of metal deposits. They can make their long ships and stuff like that. They're very inventive. Then we have the water tribes. The water tribes are pretty much stuck at the poles. There's the northern water tribe and the southern water tribe, and they're very isolated. And then there's the foggy swamp, or what is it called? The swamp tribe that's just in the middle of the Earth Kingdom. There's just some waterbenders that have just been in a swamp forever, which is so good. But so the water tribes, it says here, it says here, during the 100-Year War, they suffered greatly because they were constantly under attack navally from the Fire Nation. But since the end of the war, they have substantially rebuilt and recovered. But the northern and southern water tribes took very different paths to the future. If you guys watch Korra, the northern water tribe, I believe, which is where Korra is from, goes very spiritual. One of them makes like an absolutely incredibly crazy city. And the other one stays pretty, not primitive, but like pretty traditional. So if any of you are playing waterbenders during this time, you can decide which kind of side oh, Sarah's raising her hand. Okay. So think about maybe what kind of waterbender society you want to come from. Or you could be one of the swamp ones, which is very funny.
I
think you should be a swamp one, Sarah, because I've seen and heard you do a redneck now, and I want so much for the world to see.
You want me to be a redneck waterbender?
Yes.
Have you seen oh, you haven't. Yeah.
I haven't.
Like after this, Google some of the swamp water tribe people.
It's like
they wear
one episode. It's great.
It's like one episode. They wear like straw hats and ride like alligators and shit. It's very redneck.
Cool.
It's very redneck. Yeah.
They have a tree, though.
We know what you're playing, Sarah.
I might have to be a swamp water tribe now.
It's decided. Yes.
Swamp bender.
I love it so much.
Yeah, yeah. I love, see, again, we're talking about like, this is a children's show, but like they thought about the world building and they were like, well, why would they be stuck at the poles? Maybe one group just got stuck in the Earth Kingdom in a swamp. And you're like, yes, that's so good. In chat, it says here, only if you do the Southern twang, Sarah. You got to bring that Southern twang.
That is one of my Pathfinder players who has heard me do a hillbilly voice on Wednesday for like 2 hours straight.
Now it is expected. Now it is expected.
All right, I can handle this.
Earthbenders are Earth Kingdom people. Largest nation geographically and population-wise, I believe. The Earth Kingdom is very insular. They kind of build themselves behind walls or make it very difficult to like kind of get to them, but they are incredibly stoic and strong-willed people. During my research, I found earthbending uses neutral G, I think is what they call it, but it's basically waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and so it's all about patience, earthbending, and being like grounded, which makes a lot of sense, right? So it says here, the Earth Kingdom covers such a large area. It's culturally diverse. It says the nation struggles with xenophobia, nevertheless, but never backs down from a conflict that can be grounded in national pride. Yeah. While the Earth Kingdom definitely was occupied and attacked plenty of times by the Fire Nation during the 100-Year War, most of them didn't even notice, kind of thing. Well, I guess Ba Sing Se fell at one point, so yeah, it got crazy. But
No war in Bossing Say.
There is no war in Bossing
Bossing
Say.
Say.
I want Christian doesn't have any idea what I'm going to say next, but like doesn't know what I'm going to mean. But I kind of want him to play a member of the Dai Li, like the secret police of the Earth Kingdom.
Are they like xenophobic assholes?
No, they're like the people who like constantly push the propaganda and convince people that there are no problems. They're like the
Oh, no, they're not good.
No,
I
that
don't-
works.
I don't want to
Yes.
say
That's right.
fascists, but
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Because listen, I wanted to be like a very like nationalistic kind of like, because I want to play the hammer. I want to play an earthbender hammer, basically to foil Troy's, be a foil for Troy's character. But that works perfectly because now I can just be like, Earth Nation is the greatest. Yeah.
yeah.
And,
Well,
yeah,
and there's
perfect.
also there actually is. It's a very militaristic nation. So even without being a member of the Dai Li, you could just be a member of the Earth Kingdom Army. And there's actually a whole
No, how do you spell
like,
that? It's too late. It's canon. How do I spell it?
DAILI, I think DAI/LI, but space LI. But
I will look it
I will
up.
say this: there's a whole episode where one of the military leaders of the Earth Kingdom decides that his goal is to force Aang into the Avatar state so he can end the war by sending him to the Fire Nation to just wreak havoc. And the way he does that is just by pestering him and pushing his buttons and stealing his friends and hurting the people he loves. And it does cause Aang to go into the Avatar state, and he just goes nuts. But like that's the kind of thing the Earth Kingdom would do. Like, you know, ends to a means. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I like it. One death
all
is
right.
a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic. I like it.
Yeah.
We're going with it.
So and then
This
I mean,
is
I'm not
fine.
even going to talk about the air nomads because it's not going to be something we really talk about, because the only air nomads are Avatar Aang as he starts his family with Katara. Yeah, which is super great. Yeah, it turns out, and I don't know, none of you have watched
It's all beaten.
none of you have watched Legend of Korra, but Korra's airbending teacher is Aang's son. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. It's great. Please watch Korra. It's better than you think. Don't listen to the internet. All right, so we've chosen our era. We're choosing Avatar Aang's era after the defeat of Fire Lord Ozai and healing the world, talking about moving forward, starting a brighter future. I love this. I have now quoted Joseph Stalin on stream. Christian, you come on, man.
I have the big Russian hat. I can go get it.
That ain't what we're pushing.
Dude,
All right.
TOS, man. Come on now.
Terms of service, yeah, right.
It's fine.
Dude, Twitch ain't taking us down. America's taking us down.
You will crush them.
we will not. So
We are but humble nerds.
yes,
That's true. That's true.
So next up is us getting started talking about the game that we're going to play. So we know what era we're going to play it in. I know you all have ideas about your characters. We're going to get to that in a minute. It says here, get ready to play by making decisions about the game as a group. Make decisions about the characters you want to play individually. Then every player, including me, should have equal say defining the game's scope, focus, and the inciting incident. So it says here, make decisions about characters you want to play individually, and then maybe we should make characters first, and then we'll talk about the scope of like the game that we're going to play.
Okay.
So is that cool with everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, that's what everyone's here for anyway, right? We want to hear about these wild benders and shit that you guys are going to be playing. All right. So does everybody? I think I shared the PDF with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have that available to you, but if not, I will basically just pitch you some questions. Oh, I should talk about, as we're going to start character creation, Avatar Legends, the game itself. We are vaguely familiar as a group with Powered by the Apocalypse games. We recently played Bluebeard's Bride, which is by the same publisher, Magpie Games, who've made this incredible Avatar game. Powered by the Apocalypse games share a few things in common. One is the resolution mechanic, which is rolling 2d6 plus modifiers, and that determines the success or not of your character's actions. So there are moves which you will potentially attempt. If you decide to do anything, and I think that falls under a move and it has a consequence for failure, I will ask you to roll that. You roll 2d6 and add your modifier. Anything 6 or below is a failure. I get to make a hard move against you. I get to complicate the scene. You might get what you want. Failing forward is definitely a thing because it's a narrative-based game. But for the most part, I'm going to make it very difficult or very complicating for you to do that thing. 7 to 9 is the other success. Is the first success. It's called a mixed success or a success with complication. You get what you want. You succeed in your thing, but oftentimes there's decisions to be made that complicate it. And then 10 plus is an unmitigated success. You do it and you tell me how great it is. So that's one part of Powered by the Apocalypse games. The other is that this game is not like a lot of other tabletop role-playing games where you all know all of your stats and all of your skills and stuff like that. The game is framed as a conversation. And for the most part, a lot of the advice I've seen for running these kinds of games is I actually don't want you guys thinking about the actual moves that are on your character sheet. I want you just thinking about what your character would do, and I will tell you if that's something that requires a roll. You know what I mean? I don't want any of you sitting here and going, oh, I would like to push my luck. Like, I would like you to say like what you want to do in a situation, and I might say, oh, that sounds like you're pushing your luck, roll this. Do you know what I mean? But either way, it's about framing it as a conversation, so that way it's always about the fiction and not about the mechanics.
Great. That's a lot less rules for me to learn.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
None.
I'll take it.
Yeah. These games really do strive to be more about the story you're telling and then, the character's power and stuff like that, which is why I think this game is designed so well, even just in the quick start, because any playbook can be a bender. You know what I mean? Like, bender is not one of the playbooks. Anybody can bend. It's not about the fact that you can bend. It's about your character's struggles, your character's growth. You know what I mean? Like, bending isn't the journey. It's just a tool,
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the first thing we're going to do is technically the first thing they have you do here is choose your playbook. Christian, you've already mentioned what playbook you're playing. So why don't we talk about the playbook that you want to play?
Let me find it. Hold on a second.
Do you want to just say it and I'll read it?
It was a hammer. Yeah, I wanted to be the hammer.
The
hammer Earthbender. Yep.
Yes. The hammer is strong, tough, and looking for a deserving face to punch. Play the hammer if you want to grapple with what force can and cannot solve. Avatar Korra is a hammer. She is very good at all of the bending except air bending, which is about being loose and about being free. No, she wants to punch things into submission. She's like, I'm powerful as shit. I'm going to beat the shit out of stuff. That's what I'm going to do.
I like her.
Yeah, so the hammer is, they're your brutes, right? So Christian, you're going to be playing the hammer. Let's just go up to Jess. Since Amber's not here, we're going to go like this in the stream. Jess, do you know what playbook you're thinking about playing?
I do. I want to be the successor.
The successor. Do you want to read that for us?
Nice.
Yeah, sure. The successor comes from a lineage of powerful but scary figures. Play the successor if you want to struggle against your lineage as it threatens to draw you in.
Ooh, very nice. And let me just shout out real quick. If anybody's a nerd for world building like I am, YouTube, there's a YouTuber, Hello Future Me. They are, I want to say, from New Zealand. And he is a massive Avatar fan, and he has a whole series of like why Avatar is amazing. And he has a whole world building series, and he goes into like the Fire Nation and about how the nobles, kept their their marriages arranged so that they would keep powerful firebending to a small group of people, ruled by power, ruled by nobility and all that stuff. So it almost feels like if you're going to be playing a firebender successor, you're from a very small group of very powerful people.
Ooh, okay.
Which in the time after the 100-Year War would probably be the least trusted people in the world. Yeah. Cool. Very, very cool. Next up, we have Sarah. We just figured out what your concept is, but do you know what kind of playbook?
Oh, yes. So I am going to stick with my original plan because while you've been talking, I did find a little bit of info on the Foggy Swamp tribe.
Foggy Swamp, I knew it, yeah.
And so part of the thing after the 100-Year War is that I guess they gained like representation afterwards. They were like represented at Zuko's coronation. And so I am going to go with my original concept, which is the icon.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
That's so good because like the icon of the Foggy Swamp Benders, like that's so good. Like I cannot wait to find out Yeah, more about this character. Do you want to read us about the icon?
Yeah, so the icon comes from an ancient tradition and inherited some serious standards to live up to. Play the icon if you want to be torn between your heart and your destiny.
That's a good one. That is a good one. And we'll talk about this in a second, but let's get to Christians first. But then I do have a question because it'll determine how.
Troy?
Yep, that's exactly what I meant. Troy, yeah, go ahead. Tell us about your character. What playbook are you thinking?
Yep. So I'm going to be the idealist.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
yep.
Okay. The idealist says the idealist has a past full of suffering and tragedy that has strengthened their beliefs. Play the idealist if you want to awaken the hope in everyone around you.
You are an inspiring man, Troy.
I love it.
Jess.
I'm actually planning on playing somebody from the Fire Nation.
Oh, interesting.
So, almost kind of Uncle
Iroh. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, the Fire Nation definitely was a very militaristic kind of thing. I think that was part of your background that you were thinking about doing, right?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to talk about yeah, we'll talk about background in a second. So one thing I want to ask, because I don't think it's brought up here in character creation specifically, is what age range are we thinking? Because I know Team Gang, Avatar Aang's crew was, I believe, in canon somewhere between like 12 and 16 was like that group's range. Aang was supposed to be like 12, and then everyone else is supposed to be like up to 16 or something like that. And then I think Korra's slightly older. They gave her more time because technically you're not supposed to start your Avatar training until a certain age, but she knew from like 3. But I think that she's supposed to be probably somewhere around 18, 19, something like that. What age range are we thinking? Because that will determine how long after the defeat of Fire Lord Ozai this is going to take part in there.
So I think by definition, Troy's character has to be a little older, just because of what I know about.
Might be the oldest.
Planning. Yeah, he probably should be the oldest.
So I'm okay with being the oldest. I don't want to be ancient because unlike Uncle.
Why, Troy?
Like Hero who has all his shit figured out, or seems like he does. I'm firm in my beliefs, but I'm also like I'm not sure that they're right. So
could be mid-20s.
I'm still learning. Yeah, at earliest mid-20s. I was thinking like 30.
30?
30.
Yeah.
So basically ancient.
Yeah.
Well, that's great because let's say you were like what do we think, like 22-year-old soldier during the 100-Year War? We could put this 10 years after the war. So like, Republic City is being built. You know what I mean? Like enough time that it's not real fresh, but still not long enough that anybody's feeling good about firebenders. You know what I mean? Like
sure. That works for me, I think. Yeah.
It's a long road to recovery for them. All right, cool. So in that case, that puts us, around 110 AG or whatever the year marking is. Does anybody else have age ideas?
Thinking like 17, 19 for me, I think.
So you were like a child. Yeah, so you were like a child, Jess, when your Fire Lord was defeated.
That's a good point. It's 10 years, right?
I mean, ish.
Maybe also like 2022 then.
Okay.
I think I want to have still like strong visual memories of it.
Enough so that like you're salty about how much better you had it when you were a kid.
Maybe.
Pretty actually, because no, that's good because I'm thinking the exact same thing for reasons that I want to still be salty, old enough to do stuff, but young enough to still be salty about it without having like perspective of like different people's opinions and stuff like that. That's why I'm going with what I'm going with.
All right. Yeah, we'll aim for that. So yeah, we'll play like and then now here's where Sarah's like, I'm 9.
So again, I have the fandom.com tab for the Foggy Song Tribe open because I wanna, do some accuracy. So the gang, it looks like, got and met them around like at the end of the 100-Year War. It's during the final year of the 100-Year War.
Yes. Yep.
So if this is around 110, I'm almost thinking maybe like she didn't like meet them, but she saw them and was there when they were there as like a kid. And maybe it was like, oh, like shit, these guys are really cool. I kind of like that. And so now it's like 10 years later and she's like 20. So like she met them as a 10-year-old. and then is
I mean,
now 20 and
you only would have been 2 years younger than Aang himself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he would have been someone you could have been a friend with, kind of thing, you know?
yeah, like she probably thought he was like fun.
Yeah. Oh, he was.
Yeah,
If Aang was anything, Aang was
he's
fun.
fun. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 20. So she would have like been there when they were there.
So that's great. So we have an age range where Troy is the old guy at 30, like, and the rest of you are early 20s ish, all old enough to remember the end of the 100-Year War, but not old enough to have done anything during it, except for Troy's character, who that's probably why he's grasping with the problems he's grasping with. You know what I mean? Like dealing with these issues. Okay. Do we know? I remember Amber did mention an idea, but I don't know if she. Does anybody remember off the top of their head? Well, then it's gonna be a secret.
She wanted to be a Marshall character, I thought, but that's all I know.
You know what?
That's as far as I know as well.
This is going to be a good post midweek where we go, what does everybody think Amber's character is going to be? Yeah. And, you know, we'll figure that out all at the same time. All right. Next comes naming your characters. There are naming conventions in the Quick Start Guide, which are based in the world building that they did, the historical, you know, kind of context in which these nations were designed, the way that they were kind of what they were representative of in the real world. Feel free to use those if you'd like, or if you know, you want to just go with something different, by all means. You know, I bet you Fantasy Name Generators probably has avatar names. Let's find out.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna check. Here's our plug for fantasynamegenerators.com.
Okay, I can go off on this. So Fantasy Name Generators is run by one person. Her name is Emily.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. She runs the whole thing by herself. Everything is user submitted. All of the backgrounds that you see when you use the generators are fan submitted. They are fan art that they gave her permission to use. She also does often drives to raise money for reforestation all the time.
Yep.
So major shout outs to Emily. Donate to her if you can.
Yes, keep your ad blocker off for this site because she does generate ad revenue for that kind of thing.
Yes.
Pop culture, under pop culture on Fantasy Name Generators is an Avatar TLA names thing. If you guys want to go and just have some fun with that.
Rene, there's a specific one for the Foggy Swamp tribe.
Is there? Do you see that they wear like leaf hats and stuff? Like it's so good. Yeah.
When I Googled them, I saw like their actual outfits, and then I saw other people drawing like fashion concepts.
Oh boy.
Bro.
We'll have to share we'll have to message somebody who's making good fan art and be like, can we post this just to we'll hype you.
Can I share this?
Yeah.
Rainey, can you drop the link for that avatar name generator in the Zoom chat?
No, Troy, you need to learn how to Google foo. No, of course I will. Hold on one second. Oh shoot, hold on.
I'm getting in character. I'm an old man now. Christian.
I found it on my own, Troy.
So and then follow that link, and then on the top there's a bunch of drop down menus to go to pop culture, and then Avatar TLA. I love that there's a Sokka attacks one. While everybody's looking up names, let me just read you guys some great Sokka attack names from here. There's the grasping punch-a-smack. There's the oh my goodness, smoking boom-a-splat. Yeah, this is very, very Sokka. This is good.
What?
That's great. What is this? Sparky Boom Boom Man? Sparky Boom Man?
I feel like I'm back about 3 hours ago listening to Troy's names.
Oh my goodness. Those are never going on the internet, ever. So, yeah.
Oh man.
We can
I'm sticking with
look
what
at
I
that.
originally came up with.
Oh, good
These
job
are
in
cool.
chat there, Sarah.
Yeah,
what
is your name then, Christian?
I am going to go with Isen Singh.
Isen Singh? Can you so are we gonna call you Isen?
Isen works. Isen Singh. Isen.
I gotta start taking notes. I gotta start knowing what the heck I'm gonna do with you guys. I didn't write any of this down.
Popped it in the chat.
Oh, Isen Singh. Okay. Oh, we could just call you I.
Yeah, I works.
Or what do you like? What do you?
I'll decide when we play. But Isen Singh is good. I's fine. We'll go with I.
Isen Singh.
I'm not into character yet. You know, I have to do like a week's worth of method watching stuff before I get into character.
You are the Daniel. What is it? Daniel Day-Lewis? Is that his name? You're the Daniel Day-Lewis of the DM Center. If anybody in chat gets that joke, Daniel Day-Lewis, people know who he is, right? That's not a crazy
totally.
thing. So you are an Earthbender idealist, is that right? Oh, Hammer.
And I wouldn't mind being part of the was it Dai Li or Dai Lai?
Dai Li.
I would be a really young member though, huh?
You would be. I don't know if the Dai Li still exists.
They do, because I looked them up, and although they were very corrupt, after the war, they apparently were not corrupt. They redeemed themselves.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to redeem myself. I want to be a dick.
All right. Does anybody else have a name that they like yet?
Yes.
All right.
So I'm just going to be dropping Foggy Swamp Tribe lore at you guys today. All of their names are very short, and they are all unisex. So my character's name is Rue. It's spelled R-U-E.
Perfect.
And they don't do surnames. It's just one name.
Rue, Foggy Swamp Icon. All right.
What a name. What a now.
Yeah. I had a friend in college named Rue. She was great. And now I'm just going to think of that every time I think of your character.
As long as it's a good association, I'm happy.
It's a good association.
Perfect.
Jess and Troy, any thoughts? Oh, Troy went ahead and posted his, but I think he's muted.
Urulo.
Urulo?
Urulo. Yep.
Urulo.
And honestly, on the name generator, Cho came up, so that's my last name. Sorry.
Urulo Cho?
Do you know what's hilarious?
Cho.
I was like, how weird it would be for my first name to be Cho, because I wanted to go with the name Cho Zen.
You bastard.
I know, but I wrote it out and I was like, I don't like this, so I'm not gonna do it. But I'm
Urulo Cho. That's who we got, baby.
Gotcha. I'm either gonna do I'm between Trinity and Che. I might do Che.
Che.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like Che.
Definitely Che.
Yeah.
What is it?
Che. I'll go with Che Zen.
Che Zen?
To Cho Zen. Yeah.
Almost chosen. How do you spell Che?
He's almost
C-H-E?
chosen.
Yeah, it's C-H-A-E.
A-E?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
And then
spelling.
Zen, Z-E-N or S-E-N? Oh, there it is.
Yep.
That's a cool name, man.
Yeah.
That's a cool name. Fire Nation successor.
Yes.
Guys, we're cool.
Yeah, you guys are so cool.
I mean, you guys are cool. I'm not. I'm playing a fucking.
Look, you know what's funny about that is like just based on playbooks, I think technically you're supposed to be the coolest. But I mean, like you're a swamp hillbilly.
But I'm
you know?
not. It's like in theory she should be really cool, but in practice she's just like, hey.
You know what? No, not to. You're big fish in a small pond. That's what you are.
That's right.
You're not even like,
She
yeah,
won like the
you're a big
pumpkin
deal.
contest, whatever the
Yeah,
swamp
you're a
version of the
pumpkin
pumpkin
princess.
contest, like the catfish contest. She won it.
Ooh, yeah, catfish contest.
Also, interestingly enough, in one of our previous games, your ass was something that came into play. Strong of heart, dumb of ass.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
you could be strong of heart, swamp of ass. in this
Swamp
game.
of ass. Oh no. Oh no.
No, but no, I can't ruin it just because
Maybe
even
you can take the ass out of the swamp, but you can't take the swamp, out of the ass.
Oh man. Clip
Aoife's
that
ass
moment.
was so
Clip
good.
that
Yeah,
Yeah.
clip that moment.
writing it down.
49-27.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Next up, that is so ridiculous. Oh boy. Next up, we choose everyone's training. So this is where you decide whether or not you are a bender or a non-bender, basically. Since we decided we're playing, actually, this is kind of interesting. We're playing in Avatar Aang's era, post 100-Year War, post Aang's defeat of Fire Lord Ozai, meaning typically I feel like the technological character style is very evident in The Legend of Korra, but it's probably not so much in pre-Aang's era. I mean, people were always innovating and things like that, but because you had, even in Last Airbender, you had the people who were living in one of the air nomads built the flying wheelchair that he had, and his father was building all of those crazy steam powered things. So it exists. If any of you were thinking about doing that, I know we've already talked about, I think all of you are decided, but I don't remember if Jess said she was a bender or not. I assume she is because she's a noble.
She said she is, yeah.
Yeah, I think she said she is too.
Yeah, the nobility kind of kept that in the genes, if you will. Although again, go watch Hello Future Me's video. Is bending genetic? Yes and no. That was a very specific plug. But anyway, yeah. So here is where we decide. It says here, decide whether your character specializes in bendings or hand-to-hand combat or technology. All of you are benders?
No, I think Troy's not a bender, right?
Troy is not a bender.
Martial class, and I think Amber was martial class as well.
I'm not writing anything about Amber's character right now. We'll figure that out later. So you are a hand-to-hand combat person. Or a combat person. Okay. Sarah Rue is a waterbender.
She is.
Okay. Of course. Not to mix media here, but you being a backwoods, back island swamp person who's a waterbender, if any of you have played Final Fantasy X, I just imagine when Yuna is doing the sending in Kilika and she's dancing with her rod and the water is going all around her. That's the kind of like waterbender icon-ish I could see.
I just recently Final Fantasy X.
So good.
I beat it again, and it was just everything I remember that was amazing. So good.
That game is very good. Yeah. Although 9 is my favorite, and I know that's not the most popular option, but whatever. Christian. It's very good.
I just came back to see what I missed, and all I got was a joke about swamp ass. Great.
Oh yeah. Remember Aoife? Aoife was pure of heart, dumb of ass.
Yeah.
Rue is pure of heart, swamp of ass.
Oh.
I didn't say that.
No, but there's also you have to choose your fighting style, and maybe you just give people swamp ass.
Oh no. She sweats him out.
So you're just like, oh God. I'm so uncomfortable right now.
Please come back to our state and help me.
Christian, let me deflect real quick. Christian,
yes.
Are you an earthbender?
I am an earthbender.
You're an earthbender. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Fun fact, in my research, I found that I don't know if it's because it's more rare or because the population's larger, so it seems less prevalent, but earthbending is like the least represented population size wise, supposedly. So they're pretty rare in the Earth Kingdom. And Jess, you are a firebender, correct?
Yes, I am firebending. Yes.
So we got benders of all kinds and a hand-to-hand combat person in Troy. Troy, that really makes you like in the Fire Nation Navy or the Fire Nation Army, being a non-firebender. Man, you were a grunt, bro. Like
he was like a stormtrooper.
You were
basically.
You are straight stormtrooper status. Okay, cool. So that gives us everybody. Oh, actually, this is important. We have to decide your signature fighting style. Christian did bring that up. Even within your bending or your fighting style, it says here, and this is purely narrative, but it's just a way to get you to think about how you use your skills and your training in things like combat. And this is going to be very funny for you, Troy. What is your signature fighting style? So the examples here say a waterbender who creates clubs, spears, shields, and projectiles out of ice for themselves and non-benders' companions to use, or tech experts who grew up trapping monsters in the wild and constructs elaborate snares out of items to catch their enemies. So let's start with, we're going to go with Christian. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I have a good idea for one. I actually want to use like small, like smooth, like river stones and just like huck them at people like Gambit and just like have them explode.
Dude, you know what's so funny is last night I had my wife. I was like, Lynn, I just want to run through a quick character creation. And I was like, just so that way I understand like step by step what's going on here. And she sat down and she almost built a very similar character, Christian.
That's because Lynn is a genius like me and, good minds, great minds.
She built a bold earthbender and she said she wanted to fight. What she did was she would lift up a piece of stone, break it into a lot of little pieces and then just scatter them. Like she was like a scatter shot.
That's cool. See, I just have a picture of him like spinning like the stones like around his hand.
Yeah.
Like they're just
so we're just gonna say projectile.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Projectile stones.
Cool. Yeah. I like that they're river stones because you can like skip them. Like
Yeah,
you got
like
trick,
skip them
you
off
got
a
trick
wall and
shots.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Rue. What's Rue's swampy style?
I haven't figured. I almost feel like
She lifts water and drops it in people's pants.
no. Jess, I'm getting bullied. Can you help me?
Oh no.
I
You do whatever you want, Sarah. You always make the best characters. You just do whatever you want and it'll be golden.
Thank you.
Oh,
I don't know.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, not in the Foggy Swamp Tribe as much, but in I think it was the Northern Water Tribe, where Katara and Aang went to go learn waterbending. Katara found out that they don't train women to do martial waterbending; they train them to heal only. They did not teach them how to offensively wield waterbending, but waterbending has healing powers. So if you wanted to like swing that into it, where like your character isn't great at fighting with waterbending, but is like defensive or something like that, you could do that. I know you are a healer typically, so I gave you the option.
By nature. Yeah, so I like that. So she mostly does like defensive stuff and healing. But I also like the idea of she's learning to like I love the idea of her just like wrapping a water knot around someone's ankle and tripping them.
Ooh.
So like she can't hurt them, but she can annoy them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's still, I would still put that under defensive. You know what I mean? Like mostly like crowd
hindering, like hindering them.
Control, yeah.
Control.
She's there to set someone up to take care of the problem. But yeah, if yes, Christian, I see you in chat. I always finagle a way to play a cleric. If I can play a cleric, I will play a cleric.
We're playing Call of Cthulhu. I'm a nurse.
Yep, so
No,
true.
Sarah.
She was a doctor. She was a doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Rene.
Sorry. Put respect on my name. You put respect on my name.
Like fictional character.
Troy, what is this is gonna be fun. Troy, what is your Fire Nation idealist martial character hand-to-hand combat's fighting style?
He uses the sword.
Oh,
Nice.
I think of that master swordsman that Sokka fought. Yeah. Obviously I'm not a master swordsman, but like I think of that guy, and realistically, I feel like he would be on par with like airbenders. Like he would fuck up airbenders. Like
that dude was
not
nuts.
airbenders, just benders in general. Like he would be like, yeah, he would be a danger to people. Yeah. So yeah, way of the sword. I feel like there's something. I don't know. There's something that's very, very deep about the concept behind like mastering your body through like the sword, right? Like the sword is not only a physical item, but it's a manifestation of something much more.
It's an extension of yourself.
I like that a lot. Yes.
I believe actually wasn't one of Sokka's like biggest lessons, like when not to draw the sword? Like wasn't that one of the biggest things like he taught him was like
I think so, but I think moreover than that, that's just something that you see in like, culture everywhere, right? Like, you know, I just think it like 007 Spectre, the guy was like, you know, you might have all of this technology and these drones and this and that, but like what makes you a 00 is knowing when not to take the shot. Yeah. And that's something that that no amount of technology or drones will ever tell you. You know what I mean? I was like, that's really cool. So.
All right. And that brings us to Che Zen. Che, right? Che.
Yes, Che Zen. Yep.
Fire Nation Firebender successor.
Mm-hmm.
What is your fighting style? I'll go so far as to say if you are a like noble, you might be able to lightning bend.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Yes, that would be cool.
That would be cool. I think I'll stick with firebending though. I think I will stick with firebending.
Maybe she's not quite disciplined enough.
Yeah. What are my options for this too? Sorry.
It's the fighting style is entirely narrative. It's basically just it's the thing about the way you fight that makes you different from other benders of the same element. So like I guess firebending is very offensive. You know, it's always about being on the aggressor, like being the aggressor.
Yeah, right.
But I mean really it could be however you plan on manifesting it. I don't recall if there's like extended use firebending. Like nobody can like hold out a flame, right? Like it's more like it's a lot of bursts and blasts
bursts
and
out. Yeah. Right. I'm trying to think of what I remember of like Azula and Zuko and how their firebending worked.
Lots of closed fist stuff.
Fire breathing comes from breathing. Like firebending comes from the breath, like from breathing. So it's all about like inhale, exhale, like you know.
I think for me, I kind of want her, since the Fire Nation is so militaristic, kind of like the idea of her family being nobles, but very much generals in the army. And I know Troy's also kind of doing a military thing too, but I kind of like the idea of her firebending being very like sharp and precise and practiced and very kind of contained as much as possible when she is performing it. She's not great at it because she loses her head a lot, but
we could actually even say like sharpshooter. You know what I mean? Like you are like a,
ooh,
you know,
I
like
like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that kind of precise precision attacking. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Cool. I won't go as far as to say, you know, like if any of you remember from, I believe it was Avatar: The Last Airbender, the guy who was the combustion bender, like with the thing on his forehead, and he could like from far out just like shoop, and someone would just explode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
That is a subsect of firebending, but it's like honestly, I don't even know if they ever go into like how it comes about. Like I think it's just like a rare manifestation of it. But yeah, all right. But yeah, you're somewhere in between like a typical firebender and that. You know what I mean? Like you are incredibly precise with your attacks.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, subtle. You know, which
if
is
she
not
aims
something.
A shot, she knows where it's gonna hit.
Yeah. Yep. All right, cool. Next, we choose your backgrounds, which I think everybody just in discussing this has already talked about what those are going to be for them. Choose up to 2 backgrounds and describe your character's upbringing. Your backgrounds affect your social situations and tell you what kind of knowledge and practice you might draw on when you rely on your skills and training, which is one of the moves of this game. If at any point you're attempting something that I think would draw on your skills and training that you received during your background, I can make you roll for that. So it says here, write down the name of your character's hometown or homeland, either a favorite location from the show or one you've invented yourself. We can worry about that in a little bit. But the background options are military, monastic, outlaw, privileged, urban, and wilderness.
So I'm thinking, because I want to be very nationalistic. I want to be very closed-minded. I want to be very jingoistic. I want to have to be kind of sheltered from outside different opinions, right?
Okay.
Yep. You have to have been raised in an environment where it's just like, this is the one right way. Everybody else is wrong. Go team to be that way. Right.
Go team.
Go team. Right. So especially, he's going to be like 20, 22 or whatever. He has to have been done that for the majority of his life. Right. And now this is his first steps like out into the world, like kind of being exposed to these other people, and he's not going to get along to them. So I'm thinking military and privileged. Okay. Any other way he probably would have been exposed to them. Right.
I feel like, what's funny is I feel like I can think of at least, I think Jess might also pick military and privileged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was just going to say, I'm also
which is fine.
deciding between the 2.
But that's going to be great because
2.
Yeah, you can pick 2.
You can pick up to 2. Yeah. And I think that for a Fire Nation person, like it's hard to not pick military just because of the nature of that nation during this time.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like I know Christian is trying to very much foil Troy, but now I'm also thinking about how my character very much foils Troy as well.
Yeah, right? But you know something, like we're also going to foil each other like a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You two are going to be butting heads because you are seeing each other through the lens of your respective militaries and respective privilege from what were enemy nations not that long ago, like of your childhood.
Oh yeah.
So it says here there are questions that you can answer about these, but I don't think we need to go into this. Like this says for military, I think it's obvious. Like it says, are you a soldier, sailor, or spy? Do you still answer to your commanding officer, or have you gone rogue? Like I think that for you guys, your military upbringing wasn't so much that you were soldiers, maybe that you were like military kids. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
well, that's what I was thinking. So I like what you brought up about the Dai Li. I like what I read about him. I think he's too young to be a part of it, but maybe he comes from a family that's like prominent in it.
Yeah.
And he went to a military school.
Yeah.
Like a prominent, like I want to say West Point, but something like that, right? Where it's like he went to like a prominent private academy. He just learned Go Team the whole time he was there, and so that's where his mindset is.
Yep. And then under privileged, it says here, what advantages did your upbringing give you? And now that you're no longer surrounded by safety and ease, what do you miss and what do you fear? Which are good questions to think about for your character's motivations.
Yeah.
So brainstorm on those if you have answers, by all means.
So I think that, with the advantage he would have had, I mean, if his mom or dad or both of them were in the secret police, like he could get away with a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
Because he would just be like, literally like, I'm going to call mom and dad and they're going to get me out of this.
Yeah.
And so he had that, and I'm sure he misses that a lot now, because now all of a sudden, like things you do, consequences have, actions have consequences. And
all right.
he has to start thinking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
he might actually get in trouble.
And for all you know, I mean, I don't know what your family situation is like, but the Dai Li is definitely probably gone kind of quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
So.
Exactly.
All right. Since Jess, you also picked the same ones. Are you cool with like military kid, or were you?
No, I was thinking military kid as well, like soldier or military kid. Yeah.
Yep. And then, and I believe there's even things where like in the Fire Nation, like the gender roles weren't as strict, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like firebenders can be just as strong, women can be just as strong, like benders in general, you could be just as strong, regardless of your gender. So I don't think that there was any kind of like Azula was incredibly higher ranking, and like yes, she was a noble, but also because like she would still whoop everyone's ass in a
she was
Agni Kai.
But I think the whole point of her character though was that she had to struggle to get there because of like succession and gender too, though.
Yeah, she was still playing second fiddle to the missing Zuko.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know. So.
Or at least that's the way she perceived it. I think in Ozai's eyes, he did not really care.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, but that's true.
But all right. And then under privileged, obviously advantages are pretty obvious, right? Like you were part of a high-ranking family in the military of the Fire Nation during its pretty good run. But then now that you're no longer surrounded by safety and ease, if the Fire Nation ever could have been called that, what do you miss and what do you fear is a good question.
I think I'm sure like a lot of resources and things were taken away from the fire. Well, maybe not taken away, but I guess, well, I mean, the safety is away. So I guess I miss the safety the most, right? Not that anything is really threatening us, but I guess I fear things being taken away, right? I kind of fear now that this has been our focus for so long. Like what is it that we're doing now?
Yeah, especially for a kid like you, right? Where you're just like, we were so close. Like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, help these idiots?
Yeah.
Like,
and you think about wars in general, right? They drive innovation and they drive things, right? Then that drove a lot for the Fire Nation, right? They built so much off of it. This slow us down, things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good outlook. Like, this is gonna slow us down so much.
Yeah,
What a selfish. Oh, it's so good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not to, that's just character, but that's very good. Yeah. It's a good. All right. Let's go to Sarah. Do you want me to run through the backgrounds again?
I looked over them.
Okay.
I have two after, again, while you were talking to military kids, doing some more Foggy Swamp research. And I'm going wilderness and monastic.
Yeah.
Because they, from my understanding, is they have a very good philosophical thing about how just like kind of like everything is connected, and that's just take care of everything and take care of the world that takes care of you. That kind of a deal, but also like obviously wilderness. She's a swamp kid.
Hey, as a swamp person, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like I'm a swamper, so
You're
like
a
literally,
swamp man.
I get paid to go into swamps. So
Wow, I totally forgot about that. That's true. Rene.
yeah, love it. That's I appreciate you repping the swamps. Love it. All right, and wilderness. Yeah, it says here, which terrain makes you feel at home? What special skill? Oh, this is a good one. What special skill are you most proud of? It says perhaps orienteering, herbalism, sailing, animal training. I like that question. What special skill of the swamp are you most proud of?
I really want to say animal training.
Yeah, heck
I want
yeah.
her to be like to really like animals and critters and just like thinks they're all cute. Like the closest thing you can get to a druid in this game, just
Well-
like look at this terrifying baby. I love it.
And then and then you know what's great about this is now you get to brainstorm a bunch of animal hybrids because Avatar: The Last Airbender is like, you know,
Oh crap, that's
tur-
right. You
turtle
don't even get normal
ducks.
animals. You get turtle ducks and like otter bears or whatever they are.
I would die in real life for turtle duck. I've seen
Oh my
it
God.
once. I would kill for it.
There's so many good ones. Like there's like wolf bats and like, well, I mean, obviously that's terrifying, but like what are they called? Like badger moles and stuff like
What
that.
were
Like
the penguin ones.
otter penguins.
Yeah, otter
Was
penguins.
it an otter penguin? That's what it was.
The
Yeah.
Foggy Swamp tribe ride around on cat gators.
Cat gator. Like that's what I mean, right? That's that good stuff right there. Some little animal hybrid.
That would
That's
be
actually-
a vicious death roll. A cat gator.
That's actually something I meant to research was like what animal hybrids canonically exist and what dumb shit can I breed. Like, all right, cool. And Troy, that leaves us with you,
Yeah,
Mr. Swordsman.
So I'm going with 2. So obviously military. I was a soldier.
Yep.
And I'm also going with wilderness. So I actually grew up in and was raised in a urban environment. But after I was basically betrayed by my unit and like sold out in exchange for their freedom, I was held captive as a prisoner. I'm not sure what nation or what tribe or whatever. We can all work on that together. But essentially, I was obviously super pissed about all that. And there was one, I guess, guard that was like on a rotation that watched me periodically over and over again. And over time, I eventually kind of built up a relationship with this person a little bit. And so much so to the fact that they actually let me escape. And they went one step further to facilitate, like, they forged my like death. They feigned my death. So after I escaped, I was like infinitely grateful for that. And I retreated and lived in like a very small like village, like little podunk village. I was by all accounts dead. And I'm trying to basically rediscover who I am. And I'm trying to take the compassion that person showed me that saved my life, and I'm trying to apply that to everybody, while at the same time dealing with like the really deep-seated like hatred from that betrayal from the people I was closest with. So so that's kind of my thought process. So, but I like think like small village, like I think Logan from X-Men, the X-Men movie, where he retreats to that like small fucking village and splits wood, and you know.
Yeah.
Can I pitch something? Oh, do you want it to be like forested? Because I was gonna pitch, like, I feel like if you were captured, we could say it was Water Tribe, but they probably wouldn't take prisoners, just based on like how their
relationship
relationship was.
I think it would probably be Earth Nation, honestly.
I
So
like
either like a small mountainous village, like where there's like goats and like big mountains and shit like that, or thinking like maybe there's a desert.
There's a huge desert like that. I feel like if they wanted people to disappear, they could take people to, you know what I mean? But if you don't like that vibe,
there's something that's, well, no. So actually that might work pretty good, right? Because I think of a desert and I associate it with like a very harsh and like formidable, just unhospitable place. But as long as I was able to find a small village where I found community and like
there's
a
an
genuine
oasis.
love and support, like as long as I found that, I think that would actually help to facilitate this like dichotomy and this internal struggle, right? Everything around me is so inhospitable and dangerous, but I found in all of this, in this sea of just nightmare and like death, I found community. I found people that are genuine, that love each other, that are compassionate, you know? So yeah, that might work pretty good.
Ooh,
But it also has to make sense. It also has to make sense how I would have escaped from my captors and then fled through the desert to get to this village. Because I would imagine it's somewhere away from, you know, this place that I was captured. Like it's far enough away where I'm a little off the grid.
It could also be that if you. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Troy.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Christian. You're good.
I was just saying, you know, if it's a big enough desert, it could just be the sort of thing where like, oh, he got in the desert, he's never gonna get out of it, he'll die, and they just never like followed you, right? They never bothered.
Yeah, and then so for the question that it says under wilderness, it says what do you fear about like going back to the big city?
Yeah.
Is even though it's been like 8 years since this has happened, I'm afraid that I will find somebody that recognizes me. Like specifically somebody like from my unit, like a soldier from my unit. Yeah, that would be like that's I just gave you the biggest knife to twist into my side if you want, Rene. So yeah, that would be
just taking notes real quick. Just gonna
yeah. So that's that. And now and also I think since that person let me flee from captivity and like went as far as to feign my death at like a potential really great risk to themselves. Since then, I basically promised that I would extend this like grace to others, and I took a personal vow of pacifism. So I took a personal vow to never use my sword for harm, for violence. So yeah, I've got this beautiful sword that's well polished. It's always shiny, and I can dice up some fruit real good.
I love this. So yeah, so somebody,
that's actually like the plot of Old Man Logan, by the way. So you really are playing Wolverine, more or less.
That is very
cool. Really? Is it?
Yeah. So there's a post-apocalyptic Marvel thing, Old Man Logan, and like the Hulk. There's an inbred family of Hulks that like beat the shit out of him every day because he heals, but he won't fight back. He took a vow of Wolverine winds up taking a vow of pacifism. At least
is the little girl in that X-23 because
I don't.
She deserves some MCU screen time. That's all.
I mean, obviously he doesn't play. He doesn't stay pacifistic forever. It's Logan, so you know. But he is for like
Troy,
half of it. Yeah.
So Troy, I got a few things here. One, you're wanted still somewhere. Like somewhere somebody wants.
Maybe right, but like officially I'm dead. Like this other person in another nation that belongs to an army, an official organization was like, this is their death notice. They are dead. But if I was ever found alive, that might be a problem.
Yeah, and it's
You're
not
like
even
Jean
so much.
Valjean.
It's not even so much that we're going into Les Mis there.
All these references.
But it's not even so much that the Earth Kingdom would be the people noticing you and saying like we need to take this guy in because like they're like no that guy died in the desert. It'd be anybody from your Fire Nation squad seeing you and being like.
Right. Well, and maybe they think I'm dead. Maybe they have no idea. I guess I don't know. I don't know how the official death notices work in Avatar. Is it something that is distributed back to your nation? I have no idea.
I don't think death comes up a whole lot. Like it did a lot for a kids show. I don't think they breached that too much.
Yeah.
But
maybe they think I'm a deserter, you know, who knows? I'm not sure what they think. But the point is that person died 8 years ago and
you're a new person.
This new person. So
love it. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, like we're building some great characters here, lots of depth in your backstories. Next, we need to move on to Demeanors. So this is mostly just if we've played a few Powered by the Apocalypse games. I think this was part of Bluebeard's, but I'm not as sure because
you weren't there.
Your aspect. Thanks, Jess. But you're also aspects of a single character. But I think I remember this because like Troy mentioned something about the hair and the animus was all hands. Yeah, but basically what Powered by the Apocalypse games allow you to do is under the Demeanors in everybody's character sheet, it basically just lists some like personality traits or like looks or something like that, like ways that you would act. It says here, choose one or more, up to you, or make up your own if it doesn't fit the vision that you have for your character. But basically, these are like kind of touchstones, like places to think, if you're playing a certain kind of character. Like I'll bring up the bold because none of you are playing it, but like a bold character who's trying to prove themselves nonstop might be impatient or might be talkative or might be sensitive. You know what I mean? Because like they're constantly trying to prove themselves. Any kind of failure would be in like to bring up insecurity kind of thing, right? So look over those and let us know what you pick.
I got mine already.
Oh, Christian, what do you got?
I got blunt and excessive.
Easy there, Cal.
I'm basically making a like a frat boy, more or less. This is what I'm
no.
like an earthbender frat boy. Yeah.
Oh no, don't do that.
I might even wear a sweater like tied around, like whatever the Earth Nation version of that is what he's gonna go with. With like a button down and shorts, that guy.
Oh no. No. You were doing so good before this. You're doing so good before this.
Well, like metaphysically a button down and shorts. You know what I'm saying.
Figuratively button and shorts.
Figuratively.
A metaphorical button.
My dad will get me out of this. You do know who my dad was?
Oh no.
God, I'm gonna be a wake-up call for all of you military brats.
Yep. Speaking of Sarah, being the wake-up call, what are you thinking for your icon? Have you looked at those demeanors?
I did.
They're real good. There's some good ones.
Naive and playful.
Of course.
She's just a big sweetheart.
Yep. I saw those and went, those are the ones.
Aww.
Let's go to
Isn't she predictable, Rene?
Sorry.
You played with her
quick,
enough
where
now.
are we looking? Where are we looking in the book?
For you,
Because
Troy,
I see where it says demeanors, it says under the history. Where the fuck is the history?
If you look on your individual playbook,
so
they're
page 52,
right at the top.
Troy. Page 52 of the quick start.
Okay, I see. All right, thank you.
You got it.
Okay, so I have to pick two from the demeanors.
You can pick one if you want. Doesn't have to be two. And then Jess, did you look at the
definitely compassionate?
Oh, that's a good one.
And maybe.
Oh, I see another one that I like, but you do you.
I mean, maybe grieving.
That was the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah, I would say grieving. And it's more of grieving. I'm grieving a lot of shit. I'm processing some heavy shit. So
yeah,
I'm grieving the world. I'm grieving my sense of self.
The loss of self is exactly what I was thinking of. It's like
yep.
Starting fresh.
Yep, that sounds good.
I think I want to do arrogant, but I don't play arrogant too well. I don't exactly know how.
Excuse me, Mads crushed it.
Mads was a killer.
Yeah, first of all,
stone cold.
But
Mads
she wasn't arrogant. She was just like.
Yes.
No, Mads was awesome. Mads
yeah,
was
we're all
awesome.
like.
Mads said she was better than everyone, but she also
That's
was
true.
better than everyone.
Yeah,
That's true. You're not arrogant
yeah.
if it's true. That is true. She was just confident.
She was
was
objectively
exactly.
better than everyone.
It's not cocky
Yeah,
if you
she
can
was
back it
confident.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll lean for that for now, I guess. Maybe arrogant or intense, but
Yeah, intense is a good one too. If you're
I'm
thinking that.
trying to very much differentiate her from Azula. I picture Azula in my mind, but I want to make her my own thing and not be Azula.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
technically,
having the same issue with Uncle Iroh. Like it's Uncle Iroh.
Iroh.
It's it's similar. My story is somewhat similar, right? Like,
Yeah.
but
I think,
also not really.
yeah, no,
Very
I think
different
both of you have very different character goals than those characters,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Like, so that's the biggest differentiating factor is that.
I also could never pull off Azula. Like she's like way too.
No
badass
one
for me.
can.
Yeah.
Azula.
She's cutthroat.
Uncle
and I
Iroh
am
is
not
literally
there.
Jesus. So
Yeah.
nobody can pull off Uncle Iroh, okay?
Uncle-
Azula's great and all, but Uncle Iroh, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know. Like, and we're talking about like you could pick a lot of characters from this show, from this series, and just be like, they're so good. You know what I mean? Like it's even in Korra, like, and I know that people don't like the middle seasons of Korra. Kuvira is so good. Like that is a character you love to hate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh man. Like, and it's hard to argue them. Like they have a good point. And like that makes the best villains. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
oh, anyway. All All right, cool. Next up, there are history questions on your character sheets. I think we might. It's up to you guys if you want to do these now or if you want to maybe do them on your own time. You don't have to answer them all. There's like 5 questions on every character sheet, but it's just ways to like kind of get in the mind space, like the right head space for like thinking of your character. I think we might skip those for now.
Okay.
Just that way I give you guys time to think about them, you know?
Okay.
So for example, I'm just going to read a couple from Christian's Hammer one, just so that way people get an idea of like the kind of stuff that they're expecting a character who, like a person who plays this kind of character to think about. It's like, what injustice has driven you to use your strength for good? Which is funny because we've already been talking about Christian's character doesn't, well, maybe sees it that way, but like we could argue.
I can answer this right now, actually.
You know?
So I'm going to say, in I's view, the injustice is actually like what happened to his family, and like in his point of view, that, you know, the Dai Li are like slandered.
And also, I don't know if you feel this way, but Republic City is a repurposed island on the coast of the Earth Kingdom, and they're just taking
our land.
And they just said, they're just taking it and going, this isn't yours anymore. This is everyone's. Like that. Like the Earth Kingdom is probably mad about some of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Eminent domain? Question mark? No, I'm just
kidding.
Right.
Manifest destiny, bro. Man.
Oh, we got Stalin. We got we're getting okay. Never mind.
Yeah, we are hitting on all the wrong themes of Avatar right now.
There is no fascism here.
But yeah, so every once in a while, you guys take a look at those, think of those in our off weeks, and maybe those will be things that you can like bring up and be like, oh, this ties into this question that I answered. You know what I mean? All right, let's move on. Let's see here.
I think we'll have to wait until Amber gets back for
connections. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about we're going to get into the mechanics of Avatar Avatar Legends, which we talked about. It's a Powered by the Apocalypse 2d6 plus stat system. So let's talk about the 4 stats of this game. Only 4 stats, which is great, but I think they limited it to 4 because there's a pseudo 5th stat in balance, which is really, really cool. And even that stat is kind of split between 2. It is the kind of biggest branching point from traditional PBTA design that Legends is doing. And I really, really like it, especially because it fits that balance theme of Avatar so well, right?
It's perfect. I was reading over it and it's literally perfect.
It's so good, right? Yeah, and like it actually really makes like long-term play very interesting because even your center can shift. You know what I mean?
Yep. You said it's rare, but it can happen, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
super cool.
So the 4 primary stats are creativity, which is your ability to think on your feet unconventionally, come up with surprising plans or breathtaking art. So like Aang, Asami, they're creative characters, right? Focus is your character's ability to perform difficult or precise tasks under pressure or shut out distractions and work in a patient, disciplined, or stubborn manner. Azula is very focused. Tenzin, who is Aang's son, who is Avatar Korra's airbending teacher, very focused people, very, you know what I mean? Like they have a goal, they're very good at honing in on that. Harmony is your character's social sensitivity. It is their empathy and aptitude to take into account feelings of others and being compassionate. Tara, Iroh, those are strong harmony characters. And then lastly, there's passion, intensity, emotions, drive, how good you are at listening to your feelings and turning them into action. So Zuko and Korra are very passionate characters. Also Mako, who is underrated in my opinion. Although I love Bolin. Bolin is my boy. He's a total idiot. And that's my kind of character. Oh, sorry. I should now talk about what you do. Every playbook has, I believe...
For Rene. He's just like lost in his love of lore.
I do. Lore and world building is my
We're in like
shit.
a full Rainy nerd out is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You guys, you should see me and Christian's just like random Google Docs. It's just me just like writing pages of just like stupid ideas.
As the third person who has access to those, it's a lot.
But there's gold in there.
There's gold in there.
There is, but
we're
it's
the
so
Velveeta of game. No. Anyway.
Look, if we're gonna compare ourselves to mac and cheese, can it at least be Annie's?
Oh hell yes, I hope so.
Wow, we're like the organic good stuff.
Dude, I love Annie's mac and cheese. Shout out Annie's if you want to sponsor us. We will eat you on stream.
Jess, can we please make our new slogan organic good stuff?
Yes.
DMs after dark, 100% organic.
Organic good stuff.
Organic good stuff. So every playbook starts
after dark.
Every playbook
Oh God,
starts.
Troy, why?
Every
Listen, we're
playbook
gonna get
starts.
sponsorship. This is the ones we want. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay.
Oh,
Your playbook will have 2 of these stats already rated at a +1 and one of them rated at a -1. So for example, the hammer is not a very focused individual. They are action oriented. They want to punch. They want to fight. They want to bring the action. So it says here, what you can do is before we finalize those, you add +1 to any one of your stats that is important to your character. So you can specialize in one of your strengths, or you can offset your weakness. It's up to you. So let's go down real quick, the list. And I want to ask everybody, I just said, Christian, yours. So
I'm adding my 1 to passion.
adding 1 to passion. So can you tell us your stats? Your
So I
modifiers.
have creativity +1, focus -1, harmony 0, passion +2.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yep.
All right. Icon, Miss Rue, what were you thinking for your +1? And can you read us your stats?
Yes. So with my +1 included, which you'll be able to tell where it is, creativity 0, focus 1, harmony 2, passion -1.
Yes, very. Ooh, that's funny. Not that passionate, but I guess it's the intensity, right? Like,
Yeah, my understanding is that it comes more from the harmony with the world around them than
point.
direct passion. She's not a fighter. She's a sweetie. She's a lover.
yeah, right. That makes sense actually too. Like,
I lost my pen.
like if you are a very in tune with nature kind of person, it makes sense that you wouldn't ever be rash in your decision making, right? You'd be like, okay, there's a reason, there's a balance to this, right? Idealist, Mr. Urulo. Oh, you are muted. It's because he's saying all those inappropriate things.
Yeah, that's right. No, I like this because I think the person I am now is very conflicting with a very militant person.
Mhm.
So I think it kind of shows that in my stats a little bit. So my creativity will be 0. My focus is -1. My harmony is +2, and my passion is +1.
That's great. Yeah, it's very different from what you were. Yeah. And I like that focus is -1, maybe not for the same reasons that like other people might not be focused, but because you're feeling guilty. Like you're dealing with other stuff right now. You're not,
And I think I had years and years and years of focused, dedicated training. And when that person died, I tried to create separation from that.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Because
Being
there's
more
more
fluid.
attached to it.
Yeah. And Che, what are we thinking?
I have creativity +1, focus +2, harmony -1, and passion 0.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. We have a very well-rounded group. I can't wait for Amber to come in and just be like, whoa. Okay. All right. So let me describe to you some other mechanical stuff here. I'm just going through the quick start rules so that way both the audience, I feel like I want to thoroughly describe it for anybody who's going to watch and listen to this, and also make sure that we're doing our due diligence. There aren't hit points in this game. Instead, what they do is they borrow very heavily from Masks, the new generation, which is another Magpie, amazing Magpie PBTA game, which I hope to run for you guys at some point. You have a fatigue track, which basically represents your hit points, but not even really. Basically, when your character gets exhausted or injured emotionally or physically, you mark a fatigue. Even some of your moves are going to cost you fatigue because it's something that is costing your character their energy, right? So fatigue is kind of the track that you are using to get a gauge of like how energetic, how available your character is to do certain things. So once you mark off all 5 of those boxes, it's not necessarily, you're not out of the fight at all, but basically that's when you start collecting conditions, which is how they mechanically punish you in this game. So once you start marking conditions, they start imposing penalties to certain moves. Jesse,
When
you have a
you-
question.
Yeah. How did you know? When you get a condition, does your fatigue like reset again, or do you just continue to get conditions?
No, your fatigue will not reset when you collect a condition. You can rest to recover fatigue, and there's also certain moves that are available in the game that you can use to grant your friends reprieve. So I'm looking up over here. There is a move called, and I want to get to the regular moves, not combat moves. There is a move called Comfort or Support. And it says here, when you come, we're going to get into this later. I actually don't even plan on getting into the moves tonight. We'll talk about it when we start playing. So that way it's not a big rules rundown. But for the sake of comfort or support another person, and you roll with harmony on a hit, so anything 7 to 9 or 10 plus, they must decide if they're going to open up to you. So the best part about this is you can't comfort someone who's not willing to be comforted, right? Like if they're shutting everyone out and dealing with a tantrum or whatever, like they're having a tough time, they can say no. But so it says, if they don't, you mark a condition for them denying you, right? For them shutting you out. But you get to take +1 against them moving forward because they're probably going to feel guilty about that. And now you have a condition. If you succeed, if they do open up to you, you can ask them any question. On a 10 plus, they can ask a question of you as well. And anyone who answers a question honestly can choose to clear a condition or to fatigue. So basically, it very much incentivizes you guys being, that camaraderie, right?
Yeah.
There's literally a move to comfort your friends, and they'll be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I love systems that have kind of rules around kind of character development and character interaction. That's great.
Well, and again, Powered by the Apocalypse games aim to turn this game into a conversation. So like literally anytime you can have a conversation in character, the game should reward you for that. And they exactly do that. You know what I mean? So the fatigue track is basically your warning lights before you're going to start taking conditions. And based on the condition you take, it'll negatively impact certain moves. So for example, the 5 conditions are angry, afraid, foolish, guilty, and insecure. So fictionally, narratively, you can think about it. And if you're angry, you're going to take a penalty to comfort and supporting people because you're not in the mindset to be doing that. You're pissed off, right? Like that's not what you're doing. And you're going to take a -2 to assessing the situation because you're not focused on things. You're angry. You know what I mean? Like you're steaming. So, and every condition imposes a -2 to 2 of the moves. So it's really clever how they tie that into how your emotions are affecting your abilities.
And I do want to say for folks watching, all characters have a track of 5 fatigue.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
Yep. It's the same, and Rene, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the same from every playbook. It's all characters have 5 fatigue.
Correct. Yes.
We pick which fatigue box we check, or I'm sorry, do we pick which condition we check off?
No, I will actually, it actually depends. Sometimes if I get to make a hard move, so if you roll a 6-, sometimes I can just say, you mark afraid. Like you fucking fumbled hard and now you are on your knees. Your sword has clanged from your hands, Arulo, and there is a badger mole drooling above you.
Why was my sword in my hands?
Because there's a badger mole right in front of you. And now it's not even, and you are afraid. Like I can do that in certain moments. And then there are other things where like if you roll a 7 to 9 or something like that, there might be consequences to your actions and it might say mark a condition or mark fatigue and you can't, so you have to take a condition. And the cool thing about this game is, again, it's a conversation. So if you're not sure, we can all chime in and be like, I don't know, insecure kind of fits. And we'll all go, yeah, insecure is good. Take that one, Because
just looking at the conditions, and I'm sure other players would agree, I see these things. So these are all obviously things that are breaking down the walls of your character. And I look at some and there are some that absolutely would go first. And then there are those deepest to me that I would be the most reluctant to mark off.
Yep.
So that's why I asked that.
Really?
All right. Well, yeah. So, and we can, if you get the decision, obviously your character is going to be reluctant to take certain conditions, but I might impose those on you because I feel like they're fictionally appropriate. Right. So, All right, so moving on, balance. This is what Troy and I were talking about earlier. It is the pseudo fifth stat of the game, and basically it pits two kind of a personality and a principle and like an emotion, right? Like against one another. It is the two things within your character that they care about or that define them, and how it's like pulling them in different directions. And what's really cool about this game is, especially because Avatar is a game about being balanced, bringing balance to the world and all that stuff. There is a track that goes from +3 to -3. And if you are +3 in one, like in your principle, you are -3 in your other principle, right? So to give an example, Christian, your hammer, the balance is between the principles of care and force, right? So at certain points, like
oh shit, I didn't even realize that these are all different for every character.
they are.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that's awesome, isn't
I
it?
didn't
Awesome.
either.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yes. So exactly, it's your internal struggle. It's about finding your balance. So
I love
Jess,
them.
because you got excited about that, let's talk about the successors.
I know, I'm like, I love mine, but I thought
Yeah.
they were all the same.
No, and like the successors is very good. You're torn between what two principles?
Tradition and progress.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So at certain times, and what's really cool is there are specific moves that are balance moves, right? So people might call you out to live up to one of your principles. You might interact with another Fire Nation person, and they see you helping. Yeah, right, exactly. They see you helping, another people's at the expense of your own, and they're gonna say, "What is wrong with you? Like, remember where you came from. Like, we are
Yeah.
still a strong people." Or like, apologizing
Yeah.
for, again, this probably isn't going to happen, but like if you apologized for something that the Fire Nation did, somebody might look at you and just say like, these are our traditions. You know what I mean? Like, and I get to say like, shift your balance one towards tradition, and you can tell me, I don't want to, I'm changing. And you can resist that, and you get to roll to resist it. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. So it's really cool. It's like this give and take. And there's also ways for you to, at certain times here, excuse me, it says here, if you're living up to one of your principles, it says here, you call upon the strength of your convictions to boost you. You can use your bonus to your principle instead of the move, like what the move calls for, right? So you can roll plus whatever. It's really cool how they do that.
Yeah, I love it. I'm like scrolling through every single character right now, and I love them so much, and they're so clear to every single archetype. It makes so much sense.
Yep.
Yeah, they're perfect to the characters for
Yeah,
sure.
it's great.
Yeah. Again, I mean, like we could not be bigger fans of Magpie Games and how they design these games. They really understand, designing games to be about
And art.
Yeah, an art, a journey, right? Like they want you to understand that not only your character is growing, like experience these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't think of a much more intimate thing than expression of oneself. And let's be honest, that's why we play RPGs.
Yeah, and if you can
express ourselves and discover ourselves and the questions that we have about things, right?
Yeah, putting yourself in
why I play.
other perspectives too, right? Like that's my favorite thing. It's like I love playing characters that are nothing like me because it's a chance for me to go, how would I, how would I digest this from someone else's point of view? And the fact that they can. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The fact that they can like mechanically come up with a system that like rewards you or like even like kind of makes you feel that tug of war within yourself is so good,
And similarly, so I also enjoy playing characters that are not very much like me, but as Amber
As
mentioned,
the albino milkman.
Callback.
it's always checking fire extinguishers. Yeah, right. No, so there's exceptions. No, but I think Amber also brought up too when we were playing Bluebeard's Bride. Sometimes you can actually play somebody that is very like you, and it allows you to analyze things that you are very afraid of or that you are struggling with, and it almost creates a separation. It removes you by one step, and that can be very cathartic. It can help you process trauma or emotions that you actually have in a way that seems a little safer. So so very cool.
I actually want
Magpie's doing awesome in all of that. Holy shit, great job.
Yes, they're very Yeah, they got some really great designers over there, for sure. All right, so let's move on. What are we? I feel like we're already at we're at an hour and 45 minutes. Okay. I just want to keep this moving and
Terrible. We're doing good.
We're doing
Yeah,
good.
we're doing fine.
All right.
It doesn't have to be 3 hours tonight, Rainey.
No, exactly. That's what I mean. I'd like to wrap
it's just
this
so
up.
funny because we're gushing about the game and also doing the game and then gushing about Avatar too.
Yeah. Listen.
It's a
This-
big
half
gush
gush,
fest.
half actual.
That's it. Gushing.
Gameplay.
That is my bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
Dirty minds here. Stop.
I will say this. I don't know the actual number that I was, but I because I follow Magpie, I have I have masks. I have three of their games. I want to say. I just talked away from my mic, which is very bad. I have quite a few Magpie games. I'm big fans of everything they're making over there, and I was on a mailing list. Let me know the second this goes live. And I think that I got the email and I hopped on at 10 a.m. the day it dropped, and I want to say I was in probably the first 100 people to back this Kickstarter because I was love Avatar, love PBTA, love the way Magpie does it. You know what I mean? And I've been dying to play this game for a long time, so I'm super excited. All right, let's just talk real quick. I don't want to talk about moves a lot, but because we're talking about balance and how good of a mechanic it is within this game, I do want to mention that there is kind of a special move called your moment of balance, and it's kind of like Mask's moment of truth, where a superhero realizes, this is what I'm about. The moment of balance in Avatar Legends is a move your character can unlock when they advance. What's cool is, I'm trying to remember, we'll talk about this later. In other PBTA games, you mark experience every time you fail a roll. I'm going to double check to make sure that that's the case in this one, but it might not be because there's only end of session experience. But if it is, basically the second you get enough experience points to advance, you can unlock a moment of balance. And basically that allows you to, whenever you're at your center, and your character is in the zone, they're balanced between their two principles and they're feeling and again, we talked about how that center can shift. It won't in this short series, but when you're at your center, you can get in line with yourself and you can unlock your moment of balance. And it's basically a super powerful move that your character has access to. I think you can only do it once or something like that. But I'm going to read one. I'm going to read an example. So the bolds, right? Because we're not going to talk about characters. Because if it comes up, I want this to be something that you guys can do and have an awesome moment. And hopefully Amber doesn't play the bold. But it says here, the moment of balance. It says, the greatest heroes of your age may have overwhelming confidence, but balance isn't about pursuing greatness for the sake of greatness. You find a way to stand with your companions like no one else ever could. When you unlock your moment of balance, you hog the spotlight. You say, I'm taking control of this whole scene. This is how I have my moment. You know what I mean? So it says here, tell the GM how you strike down an impossibly strong enemy or obstacle to protect your friends from harm as the very best version of yourself. Because that's what the bold wants to do. They want to prove themselves. So your moment of balance is you doing that in a way that no one should ever, expect from you. You can do that. Sorry, Amber, if you pick the bold. But yeah. All right. So just wanted to point that out.
Where do you see that special move? Is it on your character sheet?
Yeah, it's on your second page. In
second
a box.
page. Yeah.
It says moment of balance.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about moves. Obviously, we're going to go over the basic moves that everyone has access to. Basically, I'll prompt you to roll those, but playbooks have special moves. So you have certain options available to you that you can choose. So it says here, hopefully that didn't make a loud noise. It says here, make some choices within your playbook about what moves you want to start the game with. So let's see. The bold is a weird one. So let's go down to Christian. We're going to go back to you guys choosing your moves. Do you see? You have a feature called bringing them down. And then you have some special hammer moves.
Yep.
Hammer time.
Yep. So yeah, I already chose my two. So I'm going to go with Fueled by Anger.
Okay, can you read that for us?
Fueled by anger, mark angry to use an additional basic or master technique when you advance an attack, even on a miss. While angry is marked, take +1 ongoing to intimidate others.
So that's awesome. So that willingly takes a condition, so he's more effective in battle. He's raging. He's a barbarian.
Mm-hmm. Pissed.
All right.
I'm also going to take Walls Can't Hold Me, which is when you rely on your skills and training to dangerously smash your way through walls or other obstacles, roll with passion instead of focus.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you get to substitute a better one of your stats for something that you can, justify. Let's go over everybody else's moves that they pick before we go into the features, like that kind of cool feature that you have there. So Icon, Miss Rue, what two Icon moves did you choose?
So the first one is use their momentum. So that's when you are engaged with a larger, powerful foe, mark fatigue to advance an attack with focus instead of passion. If you do, you don't have to mark fatigue to use strike, and you may also use retaliate as if it were an advanced attack technique.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm justifying that as like she's in the swamp. She has to deal with big shit a lot.
Yeah.
Now, Rene.
Yes.
I have a proposal to make. Can I take Yip Yip? Which is, you have an animal companion large enough to ride, name them and choose their species.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, may I propose the kind of animal it is? Because I know what I want it to be.
I'm so excited.
You know, this is a two session series, and I'm hard pressed to let me hear it. Let me give my best. I'm pretending to consider this GM face.
Moosopotamus.
Yes.
Moosopotamus.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Okay, but
for aquatic plants.
Hippos live in swamps. Okay.
Did you say Moosopotamus?
Moosopotamus.
Okay,
it's a
in my
moose
mind.
hippo.
Okay, for a second, my brain went to moose octopus, and I was like, I don't understand how that works. But Moosopotamus.
Moosopotamus.
That's such a terrifying thought of an octopus moose. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's why seriously. I was like, man, I really was thinking it was going to be something different.
When you said Moosopotamus, I thought of a moose platypus. I don't know why that's where that
Everyone.
No, I got moose hippopotamus.
I got moose hippopotamus,
Thank
Sarah.
I want a moose hippo.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Sarah, you should mark this 153. Moosopotamus.
Everyone's wrong.
Animal hybrids, man. That's
Does
awesome.
it have
yes.
really long, skinny legs, and it's like still big and fat like a hippo?
Is it moose head, hippo body?
I'm thinking moose head, hippo body.
But you know what's really a terrifying thing would be a hippo head with moose horns.
Yeah, and a moose body, so it's like
That's
big
what
and
I
long.
was. That's what I was imagining.
I'm just imagining it's
hippopotamus
just
with
like
moose
big and chumby.
Yeah,
that's how it gets around in the slums.
Yeah, but here's the kicker, right? Moose, we all know are fast, right? Moose can run up to 35 miles an hour.
So can hippos, I think.
Hippos can run up to 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So this motherfucker can run 32 and a half miles an hour.
Thank you for averaging it. That's good.
Listen, I came prepared. I saw that. I was like, time to Google hippopotamus stats.
So, but the next question is, what's its name?
I haven't decided on the name.
I like
yet.
Chumby.
Chumby?
Because that's what you said. You imagined it as Chumby, and I was like, I've never heard that word, and I love it. But
I can call it Chumby.
I mean, you do what you want, but
No, I like Chumby.
Chumby.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
This is Chumby.
This is
So good.
Chumby.
Chumby
It's
the
just like,
Moosopotamus.
brr.
Yeah. Awesome, amazing. Wow. Okay.
I'm so happy.
And it has
Idealist.
the little hippo ears that like do this stuff.
Yes.
Yes,
Has-
it's moose
has
horns,
to.
and then right in front of them is little hippo ears.
Has to. It's gotta be the best parts of both animals.
Idealist. I see a move that I imagine you took, but can you tell us, Urulo, what you took for your moves?
So I think that I would choose the strength of your heart
Yeah.
and can't knock me down.
Mm.
It's interesting because they're both combat oriented, and I am not fighting. So
Yes. So,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get
I-
into. I do want to talk about combat in this system before we end tonight, because I just think that, again, like, they did a great job of brainstorming how this could work in a really cool way. But yeah, you picked 2 combat-oriented defensive moves, which is really, really cool for your pacifist character. Very smart.
yeah. What were you thinking would be good for me?
Oh, strength of your heart for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. All right, and then the successor, Miss Che Zen.
I am going with black koala sheep.
Great. Can you read that for us?
Yeah, sure. So when you behave in a way that shocks and unsettles people from one of your backgrounds, roll with creativity to intimidate them or push your luck.
That's good. That is
Yes.
so good. And your
Yeah.
backgrounds are military and privileged, right?
Yes, and I think
Ooh.
I'm also going to take worldly knowledge.
Oh,
So another training and another background.
wow.
So I think for training that I would like to take I think what was it? It was like an innovation one or like a
Technological?
technological. Yes, that's the one.
Wow. Oh, so maybe your sharpshootering is actually because you can harness it through a tech thing that you use.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's
Love it
cool.
even better.
Jess has a gun.
Jess has a gun.
I have more like maybe a fire bazooka type thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's even funnier.
Yes.
You're this like Fire Nation, princess, right? On
Yeah.
your back is just a bazooka that you just like lift and just go like channel all of your fire bending through and shoo, boom.
That's amazing.
Love it.
Wow, that's so cool. Oh man, if people aren't getting hyped for this game, I don't know what they're doing. All right.
I mean, we're getting hyped, so we're
Yeah.
good.
That's all that
Yeah, so-
matters.
Technological and firebender, super cool. And then your other background, ooh,
Yeah, that I don't really know what to do. Either outlaw or urban, I feel like.
I think Urban's pretty Fire Nation, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, unless you're like from like the outer islands, like that main island where the capital is for the Fire Nation, which is probably where you live as a noble, is very developed, very urban.
Okay, perfect. We'll do that one then.
Yeah, cool. Nice. That's very cool. Wow, your character's wild, man. That's cool. Jess over here min-maxing. No.
It's so funny because literally my role in my normal D&D group is I am like the opposite of the mid-maxer. Like all of my characters are just incapable.
Yeah, you and I talked about this in the character death episode. Like when we get to play, we play like idiots. Like that's just
Yeah, but you do it for fun, and I like really try.
Oh.
And they just
No.
don't work.
No.
Well, you had the character with like 4 constitution or something, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You asked
it
for
was
that one.
7.
I give you
It
credit
was
for doing that.
7.
Whatever.
It was
Those
Yeah.
characters are fun to play, though.
100%.
Flawed characters are so much more fun than like a
it was
a
until
superhero.
she died.
That's just because your
Yeah.
DM was probably just an ass.
I like it because it's Amber.
I know. I figured. We always have to pick on the people who aren't here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amber's out being professional. We're just here making fun of her.
Yep.
Hey, this is what we did to Troy for what, like the first 3 weeks of
And that's what
Yep,
we did
pretty
to you
much.
when you were
Pretty
too much of a
much.
pussy to play all the horror games. So
Yep.
I peed my pants.
Sarah, mark that too, because
Listening.
we just need to make that a permanent clip of calling out Rene about that.
Listen, you can't even say my name right. Put respect on me.
Too much of a pussy. Listen, it's we were called out online that we pronounced your name wrong anyway, Rainey.
Yeah, this is true. We were called out. For all future YouTube episodes, nobody claimed that we're saying my name wrong. I know. I chose to do so. I go by Rainey. I remember in I think it was first grade, I came home because there was a new girl in my class and her name was Rene. And I came home and I looked at my parents and I went, "What have you done?" And I cried. And they were like,
Oh,
"Well, in French, it's a boy's name." And I was like, "In America, it's not." but yeah, so Rainey.
aw.
it's quite all right. I'm alive. I made
Oh,
it.
talk about strife, right? you either have to be American and be wrong, or you have to be French to be right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
If you would ever want to be French.
Lose. And not, I mean, Quebecois too, man. Jess is up there.
Yeah, don't insult them.
That could totally be someone's name in this game. Quebecois.
That's what they call themselves, the Quebecois.
That's beautiful.
We love you, Quebec.
I love Quebec.
We love
I've
you,
said
buddy.
this before. I love going. Where your friends, pal? Where your buddies, pal?
I'm not your buddy, guy.
Jess, some Canadian's gonna hear this through your computer.
Hate
like,
us.
Jess and Amber are going to be like stopped at the border.
Jess gets
I'm sorry,
jumped.
you're not allowed back. You have to. The Mounties are going to be like, you're going to have to come with us, ma'am.
well, I'm sorry. I didn't know the Mounties were old radio show hosts.
No, it's the South Park. I'll send it to you. It's the South Park Canadian.
No, it's fine.
You're so young, Sarah. It's so.
I know,
No,
really.
it sounded very 60s cartoon. I'm with you, Sarah.
I do. Let me just
Work
say.
on your accents,
Hold on.
Christian.
Hold on,
your
guys.
Coverage.
Let me bring this back real quick. I love that 1940s like horse announcer voice. Like, oh, they're coming down the stretch here. We're going down. It's gonna be on the tight one.
That is actually. All right. So fun fact. That is called. Okay.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That is the voice that does all of the recaps and intros to Legend of Korra.
Wow. So that's called the transatlantic accent.
Yeah.
And it's actually it's a manufactured accent. It's not a real accent. It was just something that was created. Prep schools, wealthy prep schools, wanted to create a accent where you wouldn't be able to tell where someone came from, not European or American. So they created it. So it was actually, if you had that accent, you basically were rich and you went to a wealthy prep school on the East Coast. Yep. And then it was adopted by Hollywood. Yeah, exactly. I looked it up because one day I was like, why the hell do all these people sound so weird in like the 50s and why did it stop in like the 60s?
Just looking at you, kid.
And it was from like the 20s through the 60s. It was just a thing, and then they stopped doing it. Yeah.
Yep. This is true.
Yep.
Okay, so do we want to go over the features that all of your characters have real quick? And just talk about, so like, for example, the tainted past from the successor. I know it's quite a bit there, but it does kind of influence quite a bit of stuff. Do you see that, Jess?
Yeah.
Just like the bringing him down for the hammer?
Probably. It's left of your moves.
Yeah.
It is
on the first page.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So anybody who's ready can go first if you'd like. We don't have to read word for word, but give an idea of what it's like basically framing for your character. Do we want to go in the order we've been going in? Like, Christian, are you ready to talk about yours? Or
I'll read it, but I'm gonna have to think about this. So you always
yours is.
Mine's tricky. Yeah, you always have an adversary, one who represents the things you're trying to smash through: tyranny, inequality, war. Larger and more dangerous concepts that, to you at least, this one person embodies. That's kind of tracks very well with my character.
Yeah.
You
know what?
Although my character might be trying to smash through something is actually good, like people taking an island and creating like a multinational country or city.
So
right?
Yeah, so let me actually pause the features because like I know you have an adversary, but like we can actually come up with some fun. Maybe NPCs and allies and stuff that you guys might know in one of the other steps of setting up this campaign. So we did skip a step earlier on where we choose the scope, focus, and inciting incident of the campaign, right? And it's because I wanted you guys to have an idea of who your characters were before we said how they got together, right? So let's talk about, and everyone gets a say in this. Normally, this would be something where I would go back and I would start writing in a notebook and be like, this is the general premise. But no, I want you guys to chime in here. The first thing we decide is the scope. How much of the 4 nations do we expect to explore over the course of these next 2 sessions, right? A small scope, for example, would be like a single fire sage temple, right? Maybe there's a problem in a single small location. The next biggest one would be the air nomad temples. Maybe they need to travel to multiple of them to unlock, a secret part of the past or something like that. The next biggest one would be something as big as the city of Ba Sing Se. Like something is happening on a much larger scale, and you guys are defending.
But not war.
Not war. Yeah, we just ended a war. Let's not get into that. Right.
There's no war in Ba Sing Se. So there
is no war in Ba Sing Se. And then lastly, the biggest scope is the world. Like, do you guys want to, in 2 sessions, go everywhere? I don't think
We should
so,
do
but-
that to you just because, Rene.
Oh, bro, yes.
I like the idea of small or slightly larger than small, just because of our time constraint. and I
Something in the
wanna
first 2.
Explore
Yeah.
the characters completely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we already talked a little bit about like Republic. I forgot what it was called. The
Beginning of
city.
Republic City.
Yeah, the beginning of Republic City. I really like that kind of concept.
Yeah, and I think that at this stage of it, maybe for various reasons, you guys are there for its founding, like as representatives of all of the bending nations, and like for someone like you, Arulo, like this is a place where someone can start over. I mean, like it is a new neutral place, and nobody needs to know who you are.
It's not only a fresh start, but it's also a place that is trying to be the like pathfinder for a better way of life, like harmony and peace. Like I'm invested in the success of this place because this is what I need to believe.
Okay.
If this can't work, if it doesn't happen, then I've got nothing, So so yeah, I like that.
All right, so we're gonna go with a relatively small scope.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there a way? Is there something like I'm not familiar with like how this worked or the city at all, but like, is there something even smaller within the city that we can focus on? Like,
I will come up with
an institution. Something?
Yeah, I can try and come up with something about. Let me do a quick search. Like I've watched Korra, but not as recently as rewatching the Aang gang. Give me a second.
The Aang gang.
The gang, man, gang. Republic City, it says here. Ooh, population of millions. We're not there yet, obviously. But number of landmarks. There is a monumental statue of Aang, but that went up after he died. Metal bending police force. Technically, at this point, it's probably just the beginning of the kind of place where metal benders were even being trained, right? Oh, look at this. There's a picture on the Avatar fandom of Republic City as it was being evolved from what was Cranefish Town. So we can even call it Cranefish Town before they chose this location to turn it into Republic City.
I like that. Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm going to do my research and come back to you guys with that. It says within a few decades it turned into a metropolis, so we're still very early on. Oh, this is great. Nobody go to the fandom site for Republic City, because I just got a wicked good plot hook, and I'm just going to write it down right now.
Nice.
This is so good.
Send me the link. I can't Google things. I'm too old.
That was
Oh.
a great Christian interpretation. Or
Oh,
Impersonated.
no.
Man, holy
Clip it.
Shark shooting.
ouch.
Wow. Man, how's it feel,
That's
Christian?
open geriatrics.
Bad, man.
Bad,
Fucking
man.
Sucks to be old. Yeah.
oh, Christian, I'm like, oh,
Hey, I was just the one bitching about my sciatica today.
Yeah, right.
You are.
I was over here like,
I
guys,
still
I can't
function.
walk.
Troy's definitely most broken as a person.
I
a
absolutely-
person
so- I for chat, because I don't know how to clip things yet. I handwrite all of the notes when they say clip it. I just on a sticky note, but I use very shorthand to note down what I'm saying. So while I have the timestamp, but the 4 I have listed just read Troy's swamp ass, Moosopotamus,
Whoa, why?
Rainy's a pussy, and Jess's sick burn.
That's good. Those are all good.
That's what I have.
All right, so I guess I kind of got to tell you guys about my idea, but I'm gonna do this first. So the next thing we choose is the focus for the group, the purpose that brought our characters together to achieve a common goal. You might disagree about how to achieve it, but they all agree that this is the goal that's important and worth risking danger and changing the futures or their futures. Choose one of the following verbs as your group's focus, then determine on the object of that verb's action. I will tell you what I was thinking after I list these things. Ready? To defeat, and then in brackets, villain. To protect a place, idea, culture, person, or thing. To change culture, society, place, or person. To deliver a person, place, to place, culture, or person. To rescue a person or thing, or to learn an idea, culture, training, or history. So we have defeat, protect, change, deliver, rescue, or learn.
I think deliver works really well for what the kind
To
of
deliver a person or thing to a place, culture, or person.
to.
Can I
You go ahead. No, go ahead.
can I pitch you my idea just that I saw in the Republic City
You may.
fandom
Yes.
wiki? It
Not-
says here, and it says here, and it doesn't say who did it.
Oh.
Around 128 AG, which is, I want to say, pretty close to what we're talking about, the crime boss, Yakone, used the outlaw ability Bloodbending to terrorize the city, but was eventually tried by the United Republic Council and dealt with by Avatar Aang after his attempted escape from punishment. So, it doesn't have to be you guys taking down a mob boss, but I love the idea of a mafia showing up in a new city, because that is like that is ripe territory for setting up, you know what I mean? Like this was in Korra, I think. Yeah.
Oh.
I think I like the idea of doing this in the sense that it is like the most important thing is to preserve the idea of harmony and peace,
Mhm.
and that being a thing. And these people are threatening that
Yeah.
possibility. So yeah, but I'm also not. I'm literally a pacifist. So like, I think I would be there trying to like dissolve this and like prevent it from happening. But like, I wouldn't be like, yo, here's a big bad boss. Like, let's go kick his ass. You know what I mean? I would think of it more of like on a
Solutions.
I'll do
moral
that.
or philosophical level.
There is to protect, and one of the options is culture or like idea. So
Yeah.
like,
Yes,
Protecting-
the idea. Yeah.
yeah, protecting the idea
Yes.
that this place isn't a place where that's going to fly, a place where we can all
It
do our own
can't
thing.
be.
Yeah.
It can't be. It literally can't be, because if it is, then I don't. Yeah, then everything my character stands for doesn't exist,
Okay.
and my whole life is a lie.
So do we want to protect the idea of a harmonious city?
I feel like that doesn't jive well with everyone else, though.
No, we
True.
could just
I know
because
you're in my
we could.
camp.
Well, we could all have our own reasons for doing that, though.
Yeah, we could all vote
Selfish
for
reasons,
something.
right? Like it could come up with something like Sarah and Troy would all your characters would totally be about like let's unity and love, blah blah blah. Yay yay.
Blah, blah,
Now
blah.
Jess's
Blah,
character,
blah,
my
blah,
character,
boo, boo, boo.
might support that, but for purely like Machiavellian reasons, right?
Yeah, I like the idea of my character wanting to bring technology to the other nations and very much establishing that we're the best nation.
This is, you know what this is? This is a like capitalistic endeavor to like you maybe.
Exactly.
like,
you know,
I lost all my like sweet stuff from being noble. Now that that's not a thing anymore, so I might as well start a company and make bank.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, that is
I have to
cool.
protect peace and harmony so I can profit ruthlessly.
Everybody, again, please go watch Korra because there's literally a character who does this.
Oh,
like
no.
he is literally a just ruthless capitalist, and it's hysterical. Like because everyone else in the show is just like, you're the worst. Like
Is
it's
his name
so
Bezos?
good. It's so
Oh,
good. No,
gosh.
his name is not Bezos, but it should have been.
Mm.
So I'm going to write down to protect the idea of like a. But yeah, do we want to use the
Yeah.
word harmonious, or what do we want to use? Like
I like unity.
unified, like a unified
Yeah.
city.
Yeah. Yeah. Unified
Neutral
city.
ground
Yeah.
together. No, I like unity better.
So here's some. I like that. That
Would
totally
you say
goes
one
against.
nation under Aang?
Oh God.
Oh God. That goes
Indivisible.
against my character basically. But here's the thing. Just like Jess is being a cynical capitalist, I'm just going to be like capitalize it from the point of view of like politically.
Sure.
So I want
Yeah.
I want to regain my family's status in like the police force or something, right? So I'm just gonna be
Oh.
yeah, go Unity. But I don't really give a shit about it. I'm just trying to like make a name for myself.
I was gonna say, if you do
Yeah.
this, it looks good for your family.
Exactly.
Christian, not only that, we just discussed this. Republic City eventually becomes a city where the police force are metal benders and they use like zip lines and stuff. You could be a member of Toph Beifong's like metal bending academy. Like that starts there. Yeah. Like she starts training earthbenders to metal bend so that they can protect
that's why I'm there.
Made
that's
of metal.
Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. That's why I'm there then. Because this will be we're playing in a time where this is just getting off the ground. So it wouldn't be up and running yet, right?
And you were a member of the freaking or whatever.
My parents were basically the Gestapo, but I'm just like, that was a misunderstanding. And now I'm kind of like
but I mean, like we could be in the part of it where like they're starting to consider like city planning infrastructure to be metal so that way you can utilize these things.
Yep, that's cool. Yeah. And that would give me a reason for like learning from Jess's character too, because metal is a combination of like earth and fire, basically, right?
Metal is actually imported from the Fire Nation. So I mean, like, look at this. We're not only are we world building, we're economically making sense. All right. So it says here
half of the party is.
So then there's a bunch of other questions.
And then we have this swamp hick.
So I have a question. So there's questions here that say like, what makes the villain powerful and compelling? I'm gonna like hold the villain close to the vest. I think I'm gonna wait and like introduce the complications as they arise. You're all there with these like stars in your eyes, you know, like big plans, big picture things. It says here, if you're trying to protect, deliver, blah blah blah. If you're trying to protect something, why is it important to a lot of people? That's an easy question to answer. And what makes it vulnerable to danger? Okay.
That's also an easy question to answer.
Very easy question to answer. If your group focus has to do with a whole culture or society, what happened recently to convince the characters now it's time for change? That's an easy question. If you're trying to learn something, we're not. If your group focus is
trying to learn jack shit.
No, learning is stupid. Books are for dummies.
For some learning.
Books are for dummies, says the person with the basement full of books.
To the librarian.
Yeah. You should, Sarah, one day I got to show you a picture of my home library. It's kind of obnoxious.
Bro.
Don't you actually have library cards for your home library?
I do. I do. And a stamp that says from the Library of Rene Legault. So if any of my friends borrow my books, I know who has it and I know how long they've had it. Yeah, pretty great, right? That was a birthday present from my wife not too long ago. Because I built like, I turned a whole wall of our basement into floor to ceiling, like library shelves. And I was like, cool, let's do this thing. And I already ran out of room.
Idea. I wonder if it runs in like her family lineage, maybe like great ideas. Like
Lynn is your wife. My wife is like the greatest gift giver. Really awesome. My wife is the greatest gift giver in the world. I'm convinced. Like it's nuts. Somebody will say something in February. She'll have bought it by March, and she will have sequestered it away, pull it out of a closet in December or for somebody's birthday, and just be like, they wanted this. And I'm like, when did they say that? They're like, one time randomly, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, that's insane.
That's a talent.
It's impressive. So shout out my wife. And then there's me.
Shout out my cousin.
All right. Lastly, and this is kind of cool. Basically, the inciting incident, it says here, is the plot of our series pilot episode, the story of how you guys met one another. Part of me wants to make this the mini series, but I also like the idea of answering these questions and giving it away to like already have established relationships. We talked about the connections. Let me double check those real quick because I might just make this the short series, like the inciting incident, right? But even the connections here says like it's like you already know these people, right? Like under, I think I'm still in the bold. In the bold here it says like blank is my ward, they need me to have their back, end of story. So like if you guys are just meeting at the beginning of this, like you're not going to know that stuff. So let's answer these questions and determine what's up.
Are we just meeting at the beginning of this?
No, that's what I'm saying. We're going to answer these questions right now.
Weren't we holding off on that because we don't have Amber?
We will answer these ones and then save the connections for after. So this is like
different.
Yeah. So these inciting incident questions discuss the thing that made you all team up for the first time. Anyway, right? So
Okay.
and what we'll do is for the sake of us being good at talking games and running games, we're gonna narrate this, and I think this is where we'll probably end tonight's session. Is we'll quickly discuss in the next 15 minutes what the pilot episode of our series looks like, and then we're gonna pick up from the end of that and start the next episode, right? Like the fallout of what happened when you guys got together for the first time. That's where we're gonna pick up and play the game. Okay.
Okay.
So we have to ask some of these questions, or you guys have to tell me which ones of these you like. In Act 1 of our pilot episode, which of these do you guys think makes the most sense for your guys' inaugural squad thing? So we befriended Ally, who gave us access to a valuable item. Part of me wants to post these to chat. But so it says we befriended somebody who gave us access to something valuable. That's one pitch. The other is we discovered a secret hidden by a powerful figure. We did something fun, but it drew the ire of a powerful figure in the process. Or we learned the frightening plans of a powerful foe.
I think discovering a secret or learning the plans.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So either way, you guys are going to have to determine if you discovered a hidden secret of a powerful figure of Cranefish, soon to be Republic City, or if you learned about frightening plans from a powerful foe.
I mean, if if the overall goal is protecting the harmony of the city and unifying, I feel like discovering plans from a foe would kind of jut us into that.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are down.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I don't know how to drink fluids.
Well, generally it's easier than drinking solids, so you're on the right track.
Yeah, I'm a gas
Yeah.
guy myself.
Oh wow, breatharian, really?
Oh my
Wow,
God.
did you come up with that on a spot? That was good.
That is a reference right there.
Look, I do a lot of cult podcasts.
Oh, okay. So we're
Shout out
thinking.
to Zealot. The podcast is no longer continuing, but by God, it's a good listen. 43 episodes of
Chef's kiss. All right, so you went with the frightening plans of a powerful foe. Is that
I
what we were
think so.
deciding?
That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So you guys need to tell me who this powerful foe is.
I thought you said you had a villain in mind, Rene.
I thought we had a mafia dude person.
Yeah, Rainy.
I'm cool with making this about the mafia.
Yeah. I love a good mafia story.
So should we make it that person that was, maybe it's the predecessor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A predecessor to Yakone. I can't remember how they pronounced it. Yakone. So I'm just gonna write in brackets mob boss. Anybody who wants to can come up with a name, or maybe we use I'm gonna use, because I didn't get to use it,
Yeah, name
Avatar The
generator.
Last Airbender name generator. I'm gonna go with, he is a member of the Earth Kingdom. His name is and what are the his name is Don
Graziano.
Don Moshan. Don Moshan. Discovered the frightening plans of Don Moshan. The Don, they just called him the Don. Because that's an easy way for me to not mispronounce names terribly and stick to the mafia trope. The Don.
Done.
So what were those frightening plans? Like, does anybody have any ideas for like what those would be?
I was like, when I was thinking about the mafia or like thinking about messing up with construction, right? I was thinking of maybe when it was the earlier city just somehow laying something underneath, right? The city that ruins the infrastructure somehow, right?
Ooh, or mafia are all about smuggling, right? And this is a coastal town. Maybe it was about them setting up underground or like interconnected cavern smuggling rings.
Yeah. Like it.
You guys like? Do you like that?
Yep.
I'm just gonna write smuggling tunnels. Smuggling tunnels.
Smuggling tunnels.
Oh gosh. I don't know if that's the vibe.
Wait, why did you go for that and not smuggling tunnels?
Yeah, smuggling tunnels.
tunnels under the city.
This girl didn't even watch Avatar.
I know Secret Tunnel. It's a meme. Everyone knows Secret Tunnel.
Memes.
I gotta keep you guessing.
All right. In Act 2 of that pilot, you guys had discovered the smuggling tunnels of the Dawn.
I've ruined it.
Yes. So what happened next in Act 2 of the pilot? Did you steal a valuable item from the Dawn? I assume we're going to use the same powerful foe. So did you steal a valuable item from the Dawn? Did you discover a terrible truth about a location or powerful figure? Maybe someone was working with the Dawn, that was, or maybe the tunnels themselves, or did you defend an ally or place from the Dawn? Maybe he needed to find a fence and he wanted to take over a business. Or did you destroy a valuable item that drew the ire of the owner, the Dawn?
Maybe we discovered that the Dawn is in like
Cahoots.
Yeah, cahoots. Yeah, it's.
I wanted to use the word. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I didn't want to. I was trying to think of another word, but then you just jumped right in. So
we got a swamp hillbilly. Cahoots
we do.
is a word.
Yeah, y'all in cahoots. Ding. So
I can't wait to do this voice. Just get wrecked for 2 weeks, 2 sessions straight.
So this is what your life is going to be all the way through December, Sarah.
Oh man.
Yes. So maybe like the initial officials who are setting up the city are in cahoots with the Dawn.
Or maybe like
that's a very mob thing.
One of the officials is,
yeah,
and he's using his power to convince the others without them realizing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So is that what we're going with? The terrible truth that one of the early leaders of Cranefish City, Republic City, was working with the mafia?
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me who that powerful figure was? Like, we don't need a name per se, although if anybody wants to go to the generators, like maybe what nation they were from, or like what industry they might have been a part of.
I mean, they should also be either, I would say, Earth or Fire Nation, because like, what is this city being built out of, right? Like, I feel like maybe they're specifically moving construction people to a different place as they construct these tunnels, or.
Ooh.
I like construction industry.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe there's like this person who's kind of in charge of the building of the city, and they're like they're like construction right-hand man, like a contractor sort. Who kind
or
of
like
handles...
someone, or like a city official, like a planning board sort of person who's just like, oh no, we don't dig over there. That's dig safe says we can't dig there. It's because there are secret tunnels there. It's not because there's anything, right?
Earthbenders, right?
Yes.
That can,
absolutely. Yep.
It would be cool if there's like, well, never mind. I was gonna say so all metal benders can bend earth, right? It's just that.
Yes.
Okay, but not all earth benders can bend metal.
Correct.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe they had like some sort of metal or alloy in like regular bricks that looked like stone or clay, and like they were able to physically move them. But I don't know how I would make that work, because if it worked the other way around, I could make it work, but I don't think I can. So.
I think we have a good thing here. Yeah. Yeah. Say it again. Like, let me just think of.
Yeah.
Say that again, Troy.
I was saying it would be really cool if like they were building buildings out of like brick and stone and earth, but they like somehow discreetly put metal into the buildings so that they could specifically bend it, but that without other people knowing or being able to. But that doesn't work. It would work if it was the opposite. If all metal benders could bend earth. No, if all earth benders could bend metal, but not. Yeah. It's okay. It's fine.
No, I think we got a good thing here where like I like that we're building a political conspiracy. like in this like, this new world of Avatar. It's just like politics.
And it's politics with like the zoning board. It's not even like
which honestly, again, I'm telling you guys, if this is the stuff that we're having fun building, you all need to watch Korra. It is very good. But yeah, so the Don and an early leader of Cranefish Town, Republic City, a planning director or something similar, we're using earthbenders to dig these tunnels and make that money. So let me just let's say, is it a male or a female, this planning director?
Roll a d4.
Yeah. Odds and evens.
I got odd.
That's a dude then.
That's a dude? All right.
I was just about to say odds is a dude, evens is a lady.
All right, so we're gonna call him Director. This is good. Director Shu. That's good. Director Shu. Okay. So again, like and when we're done with these 3 questions, I want you guys to all talk about some cool things that you did like in this pilot episode, like what brought you all together, right? And like why you know what I mean? Like we were already talking about like maybe, Che, you were there because you're starting a business, right? Like you're there like trying to like make a buck, and like you're seeing like this isn't bullshit. Like where the hell, why isn't my stuff coming in? Or like why is stuff going missing from anyway, we'll talk about this. Act 3, the final act of the pilot episode. We fought and barely defeated the Don. We narrowly escaped capture by the Don. We saved or rescued an ally from a powerful figure, not the Don. Or we were saved from the Don by an ally, but it was to their own detriment.
I kind of like escaped capture because that
that's
just
the one
means
I
like
like.
he's still out there.
He's still out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And yeah, lets me use the Don. Oh yeah, let's go. We narrowly escaped capture by the Don. Okay.
Getting captured again, homie.
Yeah, no, you're not going out like that, man. Not at all. All right, so I want you all to just like kind of paint me a picture of what this each of you were doing kind of during each of these things. So during Act 1 of the pilot episode, where it starts and we see Cranefish Town, or is it Cranefish Town? Cranefish Town. A small coastal village, all of a sudden flooded with people from all different walks of life, different nations, all coming to this place because Team Gang said, hey, this is a place where we can put everybody. It's relatively central. We're going to make this place a neutral ground, a unified city for everyone. So for various reasons, you're all there. What is it that brings you all together, learning the frightening plans of the smuggling tunnels of the Don Moshan?
How does
we were
this
talking
group
about-
meet?
We
What'd
were
you say?
talking about them. We were talking about them like trying to build in a certain area, and for whatever reason, like it wasn't allowed or whatnot. I think something that my character would probably do is if there was something where people were getting hurt, or if there was like serious conflict where there was a lot of tension and anger and like things were about to get like out of control, I would probably be the type of person that would like fit, like I think of the people like that like tie themselves to trees in the rainforest so they can't like bulldoze them over. Like maybe I was that guy and I was like really annoying, but like people kind of tolerated me, but I did like maybe do something. And then like this Don guy came along and he was like, okay, like this won't stand. And then maybe he did something more serious where he like, I don't know, had some of his guys beat me up or something like that.
Maybe was there a protest? Like that could be an easy way to like bring you all together. Like maybe like for any reason, all four of you and Amber's character could easily have been at something like a protest for something like dangerous tunnels collapsing.
That's a really good idea. Maybe there was a tunnel collapse. That's a great thing. Like shoddy construction, a tunnel collapse.
People were lost in it.
Jess's
Maybe
character.
people
Yeah,
died.
let's say like
I know. I was like, am I supposed to care about that?
No, you didn't. But you know what? You were like, why can't I get a contract with these people? Why would they buy my stuff? Or
It's all
whatever.
held up and it's all held up in a bunch of like political crap.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you're like red tape. You know, they're like, you know, they won't let me get anywhere because I'm from the Fire Nation. Isn't that right? And so you're protesting for that reason. You know, strictly selfish reasons. I'd say my character is same thing. He hates what's going on, and he's like, you know, all these foreigners are coming into my country and freaking, you know, look what's happening already. You know, shoddy workmanship. I'm telling you. He's there. So he's there for that.
Christian, I hate your character so much. I hate him so much. Jess, I mean, you could also be there not to literally protest, but just to be there so that way you can find somebody who's on the other side of it and walk up to them and just be like, you know, we can make a deal and this could all, you know what I mean? Like we can ignore all this crap. I got plans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But then
There's
that
a
also
reason why your tunnels collapsed. You need reinforced
but
you
they
need to,
can't make a
reinforce
deal
them.
with you because they're in a deal with the Don.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like slowly all of it. Okay, so we need the icon. We need Christian's characters there. I is there because a bunch of foreigners collapsed tunnels. Troy's character is there because people are getting hurt, and this is not the whole point of this city. Like, what is going on? This is dangerous. This is stupid. We have other things we could be doing. Jess's character is there for personal gain. What's the icon doing there?
I think Rue wanted to go there, kind of as this new city is being built, because her logic is, well, you know, the northern and southern water tribes, they've got a long way to go before they get here. But I'm a water tribe member, and I can go and maybe help and like give some input. And because, you know, she kind of feels pressure from her tribe to like, oh, now that the Avatar Aang has like, that he knows about them and he cares about them, so they have to reach out and help now because they're being represented, they're understood, you know, but you know, the Avatar likes them, so we have to, you know, try and be better, while still, you know, keeping to our traditions. And so I think she's there to kind of help out, and see what it's like to tell everyone back home, but then also gets just swept up in this, and is worried about the, you know, same as Troy's character, the people getting hurt, and kind of trying to be like, hey, like there's sustainable ways to do this, you know, we've got all these earthbenders and, you know, waterbenders, we can kind of like reform the nature and use this and this to make it safe, and like nature's your friend.
These are sea caves, right, that they're potentially like smuggling into and stuff like that. So like for you, you're just like, why are you tunneling there? Like that's not good, you know. And like yeah, like your character is just going on her, hey y'all, that's dumb as hell. Why the hell are you doing that over there?
Why y'all digging there?
An environmentalist.
That
So she's like, one, this is bad for the environment, but two, like those are not going to stay open well. Like, what are you doing?
So yeah, and I think that definitely already paints a picture of the connection between you and Troy's character, which is going to be fun to dive into. The compassion.
I like the idea of like, I like the idea of my character and Jess's character, like we're there for like really basically bad reasons. But then you know, maybe we see something, we see somebody going in a tunnel, whatever it is. Like Jess's character and I are probably gonna hate each other, which is awesome. But they like, you know, they saw something and then they're like, oh well, fine, we'll just work together to find out what this is. And then they found, you know, collected these two goofs and Amber's character, and you know, maybe they all witnessed this thing together, but we were only like 5 that witnessed whatever it is, them going into the secret tunnels or something, you know, and her and I are just like, we're gonna find out what this is because we're gonna get people in trouble, and they're coming up from you know, we need to keep people safe, right, or whatever.
What if, and this is good, you just gave me a great idea. What if the cave-ins are actually fake earthbending, right? They are the distraction. And someone did die, but it's because they opposed the Don.
Oh yeah.
And they blamed the cave-ins, right? And you guys, being the environmentalists and being the people who are just like, what is in the way of like, or like you're going there going like, how did they possibly mess this up? I'm an earthbender. I could, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is easy. You know what I mean? Like, what are they doing? And you go there, Jess, going like, what is the problem? And you guys see a group of mob flunkies earthbend a tunnel right through the collapse, walk in like nothing's a problem. And you're all like,
yeah.
And that's how you discover these are actually secret tunnels that the mob is using for a bunch of illegal stuff. Okay.
Nice.
Gangs together. Gangs all here, right? Okay, so we got
Don't
the gang.
forget Chumby.
And Chumby, right? Of course, Chumby. That's gonna be a weird one to justify. Sneak it in with a
Well, maybe
two-ton chump.
Maybe that happened at night, and she's got Chumby at a little like stable or something for the night, so she can go take a walk.
You can do whatever. It's fine. Chumby can chill. All right. So
He's a good boy.
So then we go to commercial, right? Like that's the perfect place to cut to commercial in that cartoon, right? Where like the 4 of you are there for five of you, because Amber's character will have been there for some reason, various reasons, and you watch these Earthbender flunkies go in to the cave-in. Like that's not who's supposed to be going there. They should be people who are helping. They should be like first responders. They should be whatever. They should be infrastructure people. No, just a bunch of flunkies going in there. You guys go in there and discover the Don and Director Shu are working together, and like that, this is a perfect place for like a cartoon, right? Where like you guys sneak in, it's dark in the caves, blah blah, and you overhear the conversation, and they're just like, this setback, Shu's like, this setback better be worth it, and the Don's just like, relax, the people here, they're all idiots, and like basically it's just like them discussing their business plans to turn Cranefish City into a smuggling capital, right? So you can also, during us discussing these kinds of things, you guys tell me, do you have allies? Like, have you made friends that aren't the 5 of you? Are there items or like interesting locations, people, places, other enemies that you might like, Christian, you have your adversary. So are they involved? Are they in Cranefish City?
Yes, let's say they are, but I like the idea of the adversary being like, almost like maybe like an internal affairs sort of person who like went after my family for corruption or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
But now is like installed in the government there.
Would you almost go as far as to say a Mountie?
Yes, no. Yeah, like a Mountie, buddy. And I'm sorry, everyone.
Sarah's so mad.
Yeah.
Just be nice to the Canadians.
No, they're fun to pick on. Because they won't do anything back. Because they're hosers.
Hey, they've got like moose and bears and stuff.
Yeah, but they themselves will not say anything back. They will literally like apologize while you make fun of them. So
yeah, I was gonna say Rainey's right. Look at hockey; it's like the most violent sport.
That's because that's where all the aggression comes out.
We love you.
I'm just kidding. I love Canadians too. I'm just kidding. Wolverine's a Canadian. He's cool.
So. All right, so your adversary, which we'll flush out later, but is there also?
Yeah, but let's say like but not part of this, but is like an internal was an internal affairs person. Okay, now is working in the government in the city here, but like I hate them and would not want to go to them with this stuff. And if I have to, I'm going to be like, oh son of a bitch, I have to go talk to that one.
So I have a question.
They probably won't even believe me if I go.
So they're administrative. I was going to ask maybe if they're in the early police force, but no, we're gonna go.
Yeah, no, I would say I would go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like a kind of like a Commissioner Gordon sort of guy, right?
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you pick a good guy to be your foil. Like you really are building.
I'm making an asshole. Yeah.
You're making an asshole. This is great.
I am.
You're making an asshole?
My character is an asshole.
Sarah's like, you already are an asshole.
Oh,
I am.
That's not what I meant, but that
listen,
I play
you were
what I
talking
know.
about sometimes you play characters very different from yourself. Sometimes, like Christian, you just play yourself in Avatar.
This is what it is. I'm an asshole.
I'm kidding. All right, so yeah, we see you guys in these secret tunnels, these smuggling tunnels, in the coastal town of Cranefish Town. The mafia leader and the director of planning here, as they're developing this into Republic City, are working on some deals, but something happens where you guys are going to almost be captured. Who messes up? Or like what causes, you know what I mean? Like fictionally, like Jess goes, not me.
Yeah, I'm like, no, this.
Yeah. Well, it would be Troy because he's doing something over there.
Well, Troy and Amber are not here, so we can pick on them.
Oh, it's Amber's fault. It's Amber's fault.
Totally Amber's fault.
You would hate that.
You would hate that.
My children are allegedly dying of starvation, so like I have to feed my kid because he's incapable of feeding himself because he doesn't like the food. So, but I am listening.
Children.
It is all right. Yeah, please do feed your children.
Yes, they are.
I would say I'm fine with having been the one to have screwed things up.
Okay. How'd you
Yeah,
do
I
that?
was gonna say mine too. Either way.
How did I do that? I don't know. Give me some ideas, guys.
Let's see.
Violence was
Bender.
definitely part of the problem.
It could be, but I mean,
Another
I'm also just
Bender.
like I'm also blunt and excessive, so he's
I.e.
enough.
violence.
He's enough of a dumbass to have just gone like barged his way in and be like, "What's going on here?" But I don't know.
You narrowly escape by collapsing the tunnel and almost
Killing all of us as well.
Oh, that's cool.
That's fine. Yeah, I like that. Oops.
Okay, so that's cool. So you do collapse the tunnel on the way out, and there actually now, for the first time, is a collapse. Oh, my question. I kind of want to ask if anybody got hurt, but I think that because this is an Avatar cartoon, we're not going to ask that question. We're going to assume that it just kind of separated people and it was more of an inconvenience than anything.
Mhm.
And basically what it did was allow you guys to get out with the knowledge that there is
But
some,
they got a very good look at all of us.
Wait,
Before
guys,
we did
can
that.
can we have like escaped on the ocean side of the cliff side, and then this like hippopotamus creature was there to like pick us up in
Yes.
the water?
Yes.
We just jumped
yeah,
on the hippo moose.
Yes,
Yeah, like,
Rue just like,
Bumpy.
hold on,
It's-
I got this. And
Yeah.
she just does like a very specific like whistle, or like she's got like a leaf horn, and then you guys are like, what the fuck? Just and then just
splash, like a huge splash, and then
and it's just like Jumpy! And they're just like
okay, yeah. Everybody, just for the sake of this, what are we at for time? 2.5 hours?
246.
2:45. Okay. So you narrowly escape. I was gonna say everybody say one badass thing you did, just so that way you guys can feel cool about your abilities, but we'll save that. It's mostly just about all of you now being implicated together.
Yep.
And now like what we're gonna play through is the we're gonna play through the mob issues in Avatar Legends. This is very fun. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright. Excellent. We'll do connections next time, and we will do next time as well. Just so that way we could do it with Amber here. So that way, if there's any kind of fun interplay, we can absolutely include that kind of thing. And then we will dive right in to what's going on in Cranefish Town.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
I love it.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for this first episode of Avatar Legends. There are going to be 2 more episodes of this, back to our normal every other Friday schedule, with podcast releases being on the other Fridays. So come check us out. The next episode will be airing live on the 19th of November. So come hang out with us then. In the meantime, check us out on all the social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at DMs After Dark. Come check out our podcast on all the podcast apps worth their salt. We also have our YouTube channel, which uploads all of the VODs to us individually one-on-one. We have an email, dmsafterdark@gmail.com. In the meanwhile, thanks for watching, guys, and don't get swamp ass.